Oh, I'm sitting here just watching the video and not paying attention. What's up, everybody? It's time. It's that time. It's that time of the week where we go over all the crazy advice letters that have been submitted and basically talk about people really bad. There's a lot of helpful advice that goes on here too, but those that need to be dragged get dragged. So I also want to give a shout out to everybody who helped contribute. You know, you guys went out and you posted links and you told your friends about the channel and you told your relatives and your coworkers and you just got people here to subscribe. So you were very instrumental in us making that 25,000 subscriber goal that we just hit the other day. The next big one, of course, we're going for 50. And if people have commented, like, the quality of the content here is just so amazing. Why don't you have more subscribers? I don't know the answer to that question. I have no idea because I looked at other people's channels that have like, 100,000 and all stuff, and their stuff is not half as good as this. It's not half as good. So I honestly don't know what the answer to that is. The only thing I can think of is that maybe they're not quite ready for my vocabulary, my way of speaking. Yes, I was playing in the dots again, was playing in the dots. What can I say? Every so often I get inspired and I, want to call myself acting like Shay because she's professional. She knows what she's doing. I look at her pictures and I be like, "Ooh, that looks really good. I wonder what that look like on me." So then I get in there and I start trying to do it. It never looks as good as hers, but this is probably about as good as I'm going to get because I've been practicing for a year now and I don't seem to be getting to this. I've reached my maximum talent skill here. But I'm glad you guys are here. So let's get started. We got a lot of letters. The last few weeks, my cousin has been dumping me with, once again, 26 letters. So um, I'm going to. Oh, you think it's the algorithm? You might be right because there's a lot of uh, content creators of various races, not just black, Latino, Asian stuff, and people are complaining that their videos don't get nearly as much, promotion on the main YouTube page as the white folks do. And so it's very interesting. I mean, that's something that YouTube has recognized. I don't know what they're going to do about it, but it is definitely something that has gotten their attention. So maybe within the next few years, there'll be something different. But let us go and start here. We'll start with question number one. We got 26 questions today for those of you who just wandered in. And what we do is I read the questions to you that my cousin has put into this document. I read them and then I provide an answer just kind of off the cuff. I'm seeing these questions for the first time when you hear them. So it's new to both of us at the same time. So don't ask me what they meant or what else, any backdoor question. I don't know. All I know is what's in the letter. That's all you know as well. So let's start. Question number one. This is a young lady in the 22 to 29 age group from Ann Arbor, Michigan. My boyfriend is 32 and I 28. Have been dating for a year and a half, living together for about 8 months. We both have a child with someone else. My daughter's 7 and his son is 13. He is in no way a fan of my ex-husband. In fact, you could say he hates the guy for the way he treated me while we were married. No physical abuse. That being said, my ex and I get along very well now and are good at doing things in the best interest of our daughter. Seems he grew up at last. We share parenting expenses 50-50. We only talk when it has to do with our daughter, but we can have a conversation, no problem. It's been a surprisingly smooth transition. Here's the problem. I'm having a birthday party for my daughter, and I invited her dad, my ex, and his mother, her grandmother. This would not be the first time we celebrated her birthday together. My boyfriend, however, has a major problem with this. He believes that we should, quote, act like we are divorced, end quote, and not celebrate together, and I strongly disagree. I believe it's good for my daughter to have her whole family around for her 8th birthday. This also includes my boyfriend's family, as her and my boyfriend are very close as well. However, my boyfriend does not want to be around my ex at all for any reason. As I mentioned, is very upset that I have invited them. Any thoughts and suggestions on how we can work this out or about the situation would be much appreciated. This is a topic that has been very toxic to us and our relationship. We want to work this out and move forward, but we seem to be stuck on the closeness of me and my ex. Some outside help and perspective will be great. Thank you, Deb and Candace. Okay. It's time to activate BOP. What that means is you, of course, you're not going to put your hands on him, but what you're going to do is sit him down and you're going to say, look, you used to ignorant parents. You're used to people who want to fight and, use each other as weapons against their children. That's what you want us to do. You want me to side with you over what's in the best interest of my child, and I'm never going to do that. So if that's a problem for you, then you know where the door is, and you get your little stuff and your hush puppies and your skateboard, your video game controllers, and your Xbox and hit the door. Cause this is it. That little girl has a relationship with that man and she will always have one with him. That woman who's coming is her grandmother. That's blood. There's nothing you can say or do that's going to change that. And you're just going to have to either deal with it or go on about your business. Those are your only two choices. What you're talking about, sir, is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And you bitching about it all the time is going to get on my nerves. I don't want my daughter to feel like she has to choose between her grandmother and her own father and you. Because, Tobias is kept my brother. What you need to understand is you ain't nothing. You just a boyfriend. And you know what? I could change a boyfriend like I changed my drawers. So you need to understand your role here. You don't have no power. All you doing is sit up there running your mouth. Okay, so that's how you gonna have to talk to him to get him to pipe down because he all out his envelope. You in the boyfriend envelope skillet. That's it. That's all you are. So I mean, I know you don't want to talk to him like that, but I'm telling you, with the way that he's addressing this problem, it's like he doesn't get that. That is her father, and nothing in this world, whether he died, whether he went to prison for life, whether he decided he was never going to see her again, it doesn't matter. He's still the person who contributed to her life being here. And the fact that you two are mature enough to get over the problems that you had and separate your relationship from the relationship that you have formed as her parents in order to present the best and unified relationship for your daughter's peace of mind and mental health. I seriously applaud you, especially because you're only 28 years old. That is some miraculous stuff, and I'm assuming the baby, the father is not, somewhere around that age as well. So you guys are doing some miraculously wonderful parenting right here. Keep it up. But what you're going to have to accept is the fact that this man is trying to be possessive and controlling in a situation where he has no power. And he might, he needs to adjust to that. And you're going to have to just tell him, if this is seriously a problem for you, then this relationship needs to be over because what you want is never, ever going to happen. And me hearing you complain about it all the time is not really winning any favor here. It's really making me get sick of you. So that's my take on it. I am very pleased at how you're standing your ground. Don't you dare give in to him. Don't you let him control you, and don't you let him decide as a mere boyfriend been around for a year and a half and that girl's 7 going on 8 years old that he's going to dictate and control anything. Okay? Nothing. You don't get to say nothing about who I have around my daughter. That's her family. Okay. I mean, I could see if they was abusive to her or something like that, then he would have a point. But it sounds like everybody's just being very peaceful and respectful. So he should be happy that that is the experience that the little girl is having instead of throwing a fit and acting like a toddler himself. I'm this guy. I don't know. Oh, Diana did some research for me. I want to give her a shout out. She did some research for me for an upcoming show. Thank you very much. And well, I don't know if he's going to do that, Natalie, but it doesn't sound like he's really going to do anything about her. But you could be right. I mean, that could be a possibility where he gets angry. He knows the mama's not going to take it, and he starts acting stupid with the child, which would definitely get him kicked out. So I would hope that he would be at 32 has more sense to that. But then again, like we never know. You just never know. But I don't go like I've always said, you guys, I don't go into conjecture land and what if, maybe, shoulda, woulda, coulda, might land. I stay based on what's on the ladder. And I'm just giving her advice on how to address him on what she wants and what's going the program is going to be. That's all she's looking for, not all this might stuff, all that stuff. That's irrelevant right now. Relationship gentrification. Well, you have a point there. Let's move on to question number 2. This is from another young lady in the 30 to 39 age group. She's out of Boston. I've been dating a man for 2 years. He's 35, and the main issue, which I believe we have and leads to all the arguments and frictions between us, is the fact that he lives with his parents. At 35, I am 31 and have been on my own for 12 years. Now, not only does he live with his parents, he as though as although he has a job, he is kept financially by them. What? It goes to situations which for me are absurd at his age, such as asking the parents to buy him new electronics as new iPhone and video game consoles. In addition, we have some real issues as if I call and he is late for dinner with the parents, he tells me that I am giving him problems. Wow. Since long, we have been discussing him moving in with me, but it never happens. In my opinion, he wants to keep in this way so he can afford a life with which his salary he normally couldn't, labeled clothes, etc. Now, have you ever heard of anyone being faced with this type of issue? I truly find it impossible to keep a serious relationship in this manner. As well, I have issues in dating per se, someone with this mindset as truly seems like an immature man. Am I being too critical and these situations happen? I would appreciate a separate pair of eyes and opinion on this. Okay, you've been with this useless piece of donkey doo doo for 2 years. You shouldn't have been with a man like this for 2 weeks. Okay, go and listen to the video I just did on Sunday. Just did on Sunday. This guy is useless. Okay, and what this is the lifestyle that he wants to use. So even if he did move into your house, he would be looking at you to take over what the role that his parents are doing and taking care of him like he's a baby. Dump this fool. Okay, I mean, why are you even wasting your time? All this angst and concern about a male who acts like a child at 35 years old. Girl, I'm telling you. Soon as I found out that he was living with, okay, a lot of people right now, especially with COVID, and our parents are getting older. Okay, so that in itself, like as we get older, I mean, you guys, a lot of you in your 20s and 30s. So for you, it's a different perspective. By the time you get in your 50s, then you got parents in their 70s and 80s, depending on where you are in the lineup of the kids, whether you're the oldest kid or the youngest kid, because it could be a 10, 15, 20-year age gap between the oldest and the youngest. So the youngest kid might be in their 40s, late 40s, mid 40s, something, and the oldest kid already in their late 50s early 60s, and the parents in their 80s. So it's very likely that somebody, usually it's the youngest, is going to be living with the parents, but it's not because they can't afford it or anything like that. It's to kind of keep an eye on them and help them out. So that is the reality of at people at my age group. They live with their parents sometimes, and it's not because they can't afford it. It's to help their parents out, like because they need it. So that in itself, I get look at that on an individual basis. But he's only 35, and he's his parents are taking care of him like he's still a teenager. No, no, nah, 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 nah. That sure wouldn't be happening with me. So what you need to do is tell him that he's too immature and big of a baby for you to deal with, and you dump him. Okay? Because this is not, he's not going to grow up as long as his parents continue to treat him that way. So what you would be doing is stepping into a situation that is very unhealthy and it's going to be toxic to you. You've been on your own too. You're so mature, so independent minded, and so autonomous in what you do and decisions you make, how you handle yourself. You two are at opposite ends of the spectrum. He would be, if you got with this man, it would be like you have a 35-year-old toddler at your house that you're taking care of. The only thing that would be different is you wouldn't be changing his diapers. He would go potty by himself. But that's about it. Okay? So you I leave him alone. Yeah, baby, you ain't man. That's right. This is unbelievable. Okay, let's move on. Question number 3. This is a guy in the 40 to 49 age group out of Philly. I have a real problem and I want to get your take on it. I am a single 45-year-old black male. Every time I get on a dating site, I poor. He means poor. Through dozens of profiles, and every time I find a profile I like from a woman that has kept herself in shape, has no kids at home, does not have a demanding, time consuming job, similar hobbies or interests when it comes to the part where it states what they are looking for, it's almost always, quote, casual dating slash nothing serious. Hmm. Or and non-monogamous. Hmm. 98% of the profiles where women are seeking, quote, long-term or marriage, she is either obese, and Deb, I don't mean just a little chubby, a single mother of young children. I thought this would get better as I got older, but it seems half the women in my dating pool around here didn't start having kids until their late 30s or early 40s, or had one last change of life baby with their ex-husband before he took off, taking care of aging parents, raising their grandkids, or they live outside the city limits, way out in the middle of nowhere. It's so frustrating. The only women who seem to want a relationship have baggage that would make a relationship less rewarding. The ones closest to perfect for me either aren't looking for a relationship or they want to play the field. Maybe that's why they don't want a long term relationship because they know they have all the options. So they just want to have fun dating around instead of being locked down to one guy. I'm going to say this, being in that situation myself. It's not that you want to date around and have fun and play the field. You're putting the wrong spin on it. What you have is these women have managed their life. Okay, so anybody got pregnant at a change of life, baby, say mid 40s, late 40s, they would be heading to the nearest doctor to handle that. Not trying to have no damn baby and be somebody going to high school at 65 to see your kid graduate from high school. I don't even understand why anybody would want to do that to themselves. That sounds like something just some delirious crazy person would do. So what you have is a group of there's the women who have been focused on men and relationships and kids and all that. That's why they're still in stuck in that state because that's what they like. Because if a woman had kids that had kids, they wouldn't be raising their grandkids. They would be having their children raise their grandchildren. And I know a lot of people have situations where somebody's on drugs or mentally ill or in prison or whatever, so they feel that they need to step in versus put the kids in foster care and all this kind of stuff. I understand there's extenuating circumstances, but it's so common in the black community to see grandparents raising kids, and then that's not always the case. Sometimes the parents are just bums and they don't want, they might live at the house with with the kids and the grandma, and they just, the grandparents don't have primary responsibility for the children. I just I could never do that. The other issue is that when you have a woman who has managed her life, she is choosy. Okay, so this saying, well, I'm looking for a relationship, she's not going to say that because she doesn't want you trying to paint yourself into that picture. I mean, it's like she's going to date you and she's going to date Harry and she's going to date Sam and she's going to, date Malik and she's going to date so and so and she's going to see which one, like cream, rises to the top. She's not in a hurry. She's not pressed to be in a relationship. She wants to choose to have a relationship with the right dude, not just any dude. So to say in their long term and stuff, she's never going to put that in writing because she doesn't want you to get the wrong idea and think that because she said that means she wants that with you. See, that's where these kind of things become a problem. So a woman who's pretty savvy with her dating life is never going to put that in writing. She's going to say, I just want to date around. And then later, if she says, well, I could change my mind, because this is really good, then she'll do that. But she's not going to be putting that on Front Street like that, especially not on these dating sites that you mentioned. I didn't say them because no. But that's not where you're going to find the most quality individuals, male or female, on those particular sites. So I want you to understand that, you're wanting something that's, like primo at the dating age that we are, and you don't understand why those kind of women don't want a relationship because they're not pressed. They don't need one to be happy. They don't need a man to feel like they're whole and complete. They're not looking for somebody to come in and save them. They want to have fun. They want to have somebody whose company they enjoy. So they're going to be picky about who they decide they want to align themselves with. That's what you're running into. So just don't let that put you off. Go out with them anyway. Because if you the kind of dude that, like, gets her attention, then she'll change her mind, and she will decide that, hey, this is something that, is kind of magnificent. I would rather be with him than be single, and so then she will, go and do that. But you thinking that somebody's going to do that out the gate, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Well, I mean, yeah, you're right, Diana, for the most part, but there are people who are genuinely looking, but they don't tend to be on the sites the sites he mentioned, looking for a serious relationship. They be on the site where you got to pay some money and, invest time, energy, effort, and money. And then you might meet somebody. I think if I was going to do something like this, I think I would hire a matchmaker, a legit one. Those things can cost $5,000 or more, as I understand it. A few grand you're gonna invest in it, but they screen through all the people for you, and then everybody's coming out of pocket for that kind of money. They're more serious. I think if I was gonna be, in that frame of mind, that's what I would do, because I don't want to do online dating. But then on the other hand, I'm cheap. That's why I drive an old bucket car, because I don't want to pay all that money. I like my money in my account. But, if I ever decide that I really want to get, remarried, that's probably what I would do. Just letting you all know. Question number 4, female 30 to 39 from Corpus Christi, Texas. My boyfriend's 38, divorced, no biological children of his own, but helped to raise his ex's son, who is now in his 20s. I have two children who are 8 and 9. Okay, so wait. He helped raise his ex's son, who's in his 20s, but he has no kids. You have two, age 8 and 9. Oh, those are little kids. Okay, we have been dating for almost a year now, and I feel like he doesn't accept my kids. He made it very clear he doesn't want kids of his own, but I feel like if he isn't willing to accept the ones I already have, then continuing with this relationship is pointless. Just to be clear, he isn't mean to them or anything. He plays with them and interacts with them when he comes to my house. But he has made comments about how much work they are and how much they need me. A month or so ago, this conversation came up, and I told him he felt like he wasn't accepting of them. And if not, then why continue on? He basically said he cared about me and didn't want to end things. So today he made another comment about tolerating them and how wild my son is. I told him we need to take some time to reevaluate what we both want and need in our lives going forward. Can this work, or am I just wasting my time and emotions? There's two sides to this coin. Number one is he's talking about how wild your son is. Okay, that jumped out at me. On this channel, I have a video about how badass kids will ruin relationships. Okay, and it doesn't, the men involved obviously like kids because that wasn't an issue. That's why they started going out with you. They don't mind the kids. What they mind is bad kids who don't listen, who are hard headed, who do what they want to do, who talk back, who throw fits, and who act a zip damn fool, who don't listen to their mother and all that kind of stuff. Those are the kind of kids that they don't want to be bothered with. So a lot of mothers don't see their children that way because you're kind of immune to them. Yeah, you do tolerate them. You tolerate them, but see, at my age, I don't want to tolerate anybody's kids. I don't want to be bothered. It's like, I did my stint in that prison. I'm done. Okay, I don't want to be bothered. So and keep meeting all these men in their late 40s and 50s and stuff, and got little kids, like kids like seven, think her age 7, 8, 10 years old. Some of them have babies because they was messing with women who was real young. And here they come talking about I got a 2-year-old, I got a 6-month old, and all this kind of stuff. I'm thinking, oh, good luck with that, and goodbye, good luck, and good riddance, because I'm out. I don't want to be bothered with that. All that baby mama drama, child support payments, and then he got to have visitation. So if you with him, that means he gonna be looking at you to help, dealing with their teething and diaper changes and potty training and all that kind of stuff. Oh, hell to the no, not doing it. Not doing it. It's bad enough even if they have teenagers, because they be in their own hormone land, and then you got to deal with their little temper tantrums and acting up and stuff too. I don't want to bother with that either. I just don't want to be bothered with nobody's kids. That's just the way it is. So I'm thinking with this, he is torn. It's probably, if he mentioned how bad your son is, then you need to be kind of like look at it through his eyes at your child. Is your child well behaved, or is your child a wild animal? Does your child listen when you tell him to do something, or do you have to like tell him 3, 4, 5, 12 times before he does it? Or maybe he doesn't do it at all. These are the kind of things that I think a lot of single mothers don't look at. Guys are gonna be looking at you. Is a relationship with you and visits to your house gonna be peaceful because your kids are well behaved and well mannered and all this kind of stuff, or is it gonna be all this ruckus and screaming and throwing stuff and you yelling at the kids and all this kind of stuff? Don't nobody want to be bothered with that. They done worked all week and then they come to try to spend some time with their lady and they have to be bothered with all your demon spawn. It's something to think about, ladies. Now, the other thing is he said he doesn't want any children of his own. And he plays them and all this kind of stuff. But you have to feel like, I mean, you have to think about, um, what he's saying here. He doesn't want to be bothered with a problem. Okay. And if your children are badasses, they're problem children. So if that's a problem for you and you feel like he's rejecting your brats and all this old stuff, then you would have to just end the relationship. Because you looking for somebody to accept your kids like you do, that's never gonna happen, or it's very rare. Even when men love the kids, they don't love them the way that you do because they're not theirs. They could come close, over a period of time, but there's always going to be that thing, especially if the kids, get mouthy and start saying, "You ain't my daddy." If you got them kind of kids, they're just going to rub salt in the wound. So it's something to think about. I can't make this decision for you, but it sounds you're a bit defensive because he said that about your son. So now you like, I told him I need time to reevaluate and stuff. What you need to reevaluate is your son bad like he said? Are all the things that he said about your kids true? Don't get defensive. Look at it because whether what you're experiencing here, the same thing is going to keep happening if you have bad kids. The men's faces are going to change, but the relationships are going to keep blowing up in smoke because your kids are bad, and that's just all you. That's all I have to say. They can't. They snap and count. You know what I see a lot, Mary Elizabeth, is parents who try to negotiate and bribe their kids. Very poor parenting. Oh, stop, stop, Johnny. If you stop, I'll buy you this. I'll get you a candy. Get you a corn dog. So, you're trying to negotiate and bribe your kid into being well behaved. See, my parents didn't play that either. You know what my parents would do? They say before we left, they would give us that lecture. You ain't getting shit. Don't you touch shit. Don't you ask me for shit. If you're not bringing your money, you ain't buying shit. Okay, so it was very clear what the parameters were for this trip. And you stay together where I could see you. Don't go running off or that's your butt. Okay, so we knew we was on notice. Okay, so we go out, and all either one of my parents had to do is if somebody started getting a little rambunctious, they give you that look. And my mother's eyebrow, she had this like scar here that she had from when she was a teenager. She fell on an ice skating rink. And she had this little thing, and it would crease up. And boy, you talking about some little niggas would freeze in their tracks. Everybody would be like, so whatever we was doing, we would stop immediately. And my father, he would put his hands on his belt, and he would give you that look, and his nostrils would flare, and his veins start standing out on his temple. We knew somebody get ready. Somebody is like at death's door. Okay, so everybody again. We didn't play with my parents. We did not. Because they were very, like if they told you it was going to do something, they did it. There was no negotiating. You're going to do it because I told you to. I'm the daddy. I'm the mama. You the kid. So all this negotiating these people do and bribing their kids and giving in to them and all stuff, that's such a foreign concept to me. I don't even understand where they do that at. But, it's something to think about, lady. So anyway, let's move on to question number 5. This is a guy again, 40 to 49 from Calgary. So we're going on 5 months now. I know it's still fairly new. However, I've dated over 100 women in my life. I'm 45. And I never had chemistry like this with anyone. He put never in caps. We have tons in common. The same core values, can't get enough of each other. The eggplant is mind blowing on both ends. And overall, in all my life, I've never had a connection even half as strong as this one. We spend every day together, at least to some extent, even if it's just a couple of hours at the end of the day. We spend the night over one or the other's house every night as well. We both have a hard time sleeping when the other one isn't there. Aww. The kid intros happened 3 months into the relationship, and all has been great on that end as well. My kids love her, and hers love me. Oh, this sounds like it's going in the right direction. So, what's the problem? My current dilemma is this: while she does seem to love me and have similar feelings, she wants to move things slower than me all the time. I feel a part of it is how bad her ex husband was and how miserable she was with that. Regardless, it's really frustrating because I'm always the one wanting to progress faster. A large part of the reason why is because I feel like she is the woman I've been searching for since I was 14 years old and began looking for love. I'm so excited that I finally found the woman of my dreams, that I'm anxious to build our future and family together. It's not fear or insecurities controlling me in the least. As I stated above, it's pure excitement. The excitement of finding what I actually wanted, being 45, not getting any younger, and being anxious to build our future together. A list of some of the things I wanted to move faster or have been. Wanting to make us Facebook official. Okay, let me just start reading right now. You're behind is 45 years old and you worried about Facebook? For real? You should not have written that. Okay, my opinion of you just went down about 20 points on that one. Wanted to meet the kids, okay? Wanted to move in together. We haven't yet, but she doesn't seem to really care when it happens, while I am anxious to live together. I know I should be happy with having found the woman of my dreams. However, like I said previously, I am just so anxious to start our future together. It really hurts when I feel like she doesn't care as much about it, is more hesitant than I am. Okay, you wrote like a novel here. Oh, okay, you feel like the feelings are mutual. She's moving things along faster with me than she ever has with anyone in her past. It's just that she is used to moving things very slow. And my pace used to be more similar to the things I mentioned. And I accepted in the past I jumped into things too soon, but now I truly feel I have the right person. I just don't want to take my sweet time getting to the point where she and I are living together and raising our families together. At her, I'm so excited about it, yet she just doesn't care as much. I have never been a very good at throttling emotions. Breaking up would make no sense, as again, the relationship is amazing. It's just the pace thing that's an issue and is hurting me in the process. I'm open to any suggestions you might have. It's causing me tremendous pain at times, feeling like her feelings aren't mutual, but I don't know how to handle it. Grow the fuck up. Okay, this is something I want. Oh, Leandra, hey girl. Dude, and this ladies, listen to this because I have told you this many, many times. People talk about, well, it's too soon, and this and that, and I've told you numerous times when men are mature and older, they and been through the ringer, they know what they want. They see it and they go after it full throttle because they already know. They've been around the block 955 times, and when they see what they want and it clicks and it feels right, they're ready to go. Okay, they don't need all these years and 5, 10 years and stuff. Y'all be dealing with these dudes. Like I said, let's see, December, November, January, February, March, April, May. Okay, within 6 months, my husband proposed the first time. It was 5 months actually. And then this guy, the same thing. He's ready. So this is something, no, sir. What you're going to have to do, though, is slow your roll because you need to go at her pace. Okay. It's not about you right now. And it's great that you're ready to do this. You want to move in together. Have you ever talked to this woman about her belief in living together? Because I'm thinking, she's divorced and evidently it hurt her a lot. She's not really comfortable with moving in with somebody, getting remarried right now or anything. She needs a breathing room. Obviously, she enjoys you tremendously. And you guys spending all this time together. You know what your best strategy would be, and I don't think that you probably can't do it. But this would be your best strategy to deal with somebody like her is to just every night stuff, start backing off from that. Every 3 or 4 nights. You don't need to spend every night with her. You need to set things up so that she has time to think to miss you. Right now, she doesn't have that. And what you're doing is pressing her. So instead, she feels like she needs to kind of run from you. You need to use the proper psychology in a situation like this. You don't chase somebody who's trying to run from you. You stop. If anything, you take a couple of steps back. You let her come to you. See, you're not using the right psychological approach here. And what you don't like, she wants you to come over. She want to come over. Do you say no? I want to spend some time by myself. I need to, catch up on some work. I need to do something. I need to spend some time with my friends. I'm gonna go visit some relatives. You you have some excuse why you can't see her, and you need to start doing that, a little, at least once or twice a week. Give her some space and time to miss you. Let her be at home with her kids by herself. Let her think about how she can't sleep because you're not there. How she misses looking at you. How she misses laughing with you. How she misses your hugs and kisses. She needs some space to do that. And that's going to give her the space to think about how you're different from her ex, how the thing, whatever that she's afraid of, this is more appealing than being without you. See, and this is the same stuff I recommend for women. If the situation is reversed, you have to give that person space to think about you, to fantasize about you, and to miss you. It takes confidence, though, because most people are very, um, like you, they're very nervous. They get anxious about the person in the relationship disappearing or something. You got to control that. And when you can control that, control your emotions, then you can position things so that she misses you tremendously, and then she'll step up and be ready to do some of the things that you want to see happen. I would caution you, though, about proposing to live together. With two young children, that might not be the path that she really wants to take. I know when I had my daughter, I wouldn't want to live with nobody. I'm not living with you. We're either gonna date, yeah. And either we're gonna get married or we're gonna break up. Or we just keep dating until I don't want to be date you no more. But I was not gonna put her in a situation where I'm living with some raggedy man. I wasn't gonna do that. So if she's anything like me, it doesn't matter how I felt about you. I'm not living with anyone. I'm not gonna do that to my kid. So, there may be some element of that at play as well. You need to talk to her about it and think about it. No, it's not insecurity, Virgo. Well, I mean, it's insecurity for people who don't want to do it. This guy is a mature dude on the downstroke to 50. That's what I keep saying to you guys. When men are this old, and like he said, he's already dated over 100 women, he knows what the fuck he wants. He's not some little 20-year-old trying to still figure it out. This is a man who's a mature, grown man who knows what he wants. He found the woman that he's been dreaming of his whole life. He wants to get things going with her, to lock it down, to get their life together going. He doesn't want to waste time. When you start getting around 50, you start thinking about it. Well, shit, I only got 30, 35 more years maybe on this planet. I want to, I want to spend it with this person. That's what he's thinking. It's not insecurity. Okay? I just want to make that clear. Your life, when the way you think and frame things when you're older is completely different than you do when you're in your teens and 20s. But see, y'all, most of y'all is, still in that 20s and 30s age group. And so you're not here yet. You still, you know, taking your time, and you can afford to do that because you looking at, well, I got 60 years. Well, this guy's already on going in, headed towards his 50. So that 60 years is cut in half. Okay. Think about that. Let's move on to question number 6. Female 30 39 out of Los Angeles. She put in quotes, full body pics, baby. That's what they always say to me. Men keep asking for full body pics in their first couple of sentences, or referring to me as baby, babe, sweetheart, etc. I hate it, and it feels objectifying. To me, it feels like these guys aren't willing to spend a few sentences or to talk on the phone or meet even once before they want to start determining the affability of their potential new prey. I'm 35 years old and I don't get it. Most of these guys are over 40, Deb. Am I missing something or spot on in your experience? How do you ladies handle these kind of requests? That's y'all. Do you bother to tell them about themselves or just block them and move on? It's seriously getting exhausting. Okay, I once again repeat, do not do online dating. I refuse. I'm not going to do that to myself. Um, but you have to be careful. I mean, I know a lot of women talk about that. They, want us the guy asks for pictures and they send them. I would not send no monkey crap. Okay, because you know what they do in them pictures? With your face all over, with your body and everything. I would not recommend that. Whatever pictures are on your profile, you tell him that's gonna have to suffice. And if he wants to see you, then he can get the full body picture image in his mind right then and there. But you're not gonna be having your picture sent all over the world with men that you don't even know who they are. And then as far as them calling you baby, babe, sweetheart, and all that kind of stuff, you could just block them, just hang up. If you talking to them, just block them right there. If you're on the phone, just hang up. And you could just say, well, that's not my name. And he'll be like, oh, well, something, something, something. Yeah. And then you just hang up or you just block them. That would be my thing. I mean, it's like Leandra gonna have her pimp game. Leandra said charge $200 a picture, and which is definitely one way to do it. But I wouldn't send them crap, and I would tell them I'm not sending them crap, and then I'd be like, you don't even want to call me by my name, and the first thing you want to do is start collecting images of me. We're done here, sir. That would be what the way I would handle it. Putting myself in that position, I already know that's what I would do. I wouldn't entertain that at all. He's not trying to spend any time talking to you and getting to know you. These are dudes that just like to collect pictures for some. I don't know what they be doing with them pictures, but that's what makes me suspicious that it's something unsavory. And you'll be asking women you don't even know for all these pictures. What you doing with all them pictures? Question number 7, male, 30 to 39, out of Berkeley, California. Uh-oh, I have realized that I have a pattern of going after unavailable women. I need to run this by you to see if I'm doing it again because sometimes it's hard to see patterns from the inside looking out. But I have to admit that in the past I've gone after unavailable people again and again. Okay, so here's the situation. Texting with a woman named Angela, he put that in quotes, not her real name, every day since January. She has been divorced for 10 years and her ex is remarried, so that isn't an issue. Okay, texting, and you're in the 30 to 39 age group. We've met up 3 times only. She has 2 kids and they stay with her every other week. So we only get together when her kids are with the ex. I did ask if I could kiss her on the second date, but she said she wasn't ready for that. And she wants to wait until we both get vaccinated to take things to a quote romantic level. And right now, we've just been talking and getting to know each other. She said it's not that she isn't romantically interested, but that she wants to wait until the world is safer since she is a mom. Even after we do get vaccinated, I would probably still only see her every 2 to 3 weeks because of the kids situation. She is extremely busy, but we do text a good amount of it every day, and she does a good job of keeping in touch. Here's the deal. I can't tell if I'm genuinely enjoying getting to know her and that would have potential to turn into something great, or if I'm going after someone essentially unavailable without realizing it. Would love if you could shed some light on this. Thanks for reading my letter and whatever insight you could provide. Oh, she's definitely unavailable. She's definitely unavailable, and you're definitely chasing after an unavailable woman. This is mid March, and you've been texting with this chick since January, and you've only seen her 3 times. And you are writing me to ask me if you chasing somebody who's unavailable again? That doesn't jump out at you as being, like a little abnormal? Dude, I mean, I'm not telling you that you can't still talk to her and all that kind of stuff if you seem to enjoy the lady, that's fine. But what you need to be doing is dating a bunch of other people too. You're not in a committed relationship with this chick. So why are you putting all this energy and time and effort into it? Yeah, text her and talk to her when you talk to her. Tell her you don't, since she don't want to see you and stuff, you're going to start going out with other people because this is not the kind of situation you're really looking for. A texting buddy. I don't know if he's thirsty. He just really likes her more than she likes him. That's all. But again, sometimes these kind of guys, I talked about this on Sunday, the passive and the active avoider. Right now, she's the active avoider and he's the passive avoider because he keeps picking people that they have all these baggage, all these hurdles, all this stuff going on that can't, she's not going to be able to commit to him the way that he was thinking, fantasizing he wants her to. So, dude, that's my prescription for you. Wherever you met this woman, go back there and start talking, texting, and whatever with other people too. And then B, just start, not responding to her as much as you do. You put too much time and energy in all of this, and it's not worth it. If you guys were doing have all this connection, you would have been seeing each other a lot more than this in all that time. Question number 8, female, 22 to 29 from Richmond, Virginia. So I'm 27 and I dated my friend's 27-year-old brother who's 29, for a little bit. He had recently, wait, okay, so your friend's 27, you're 27, and the brother's 29. I got it. He had recently got out of prison for a minor assault. You know what type. Don't type it in the chat room. Something I talked to my friend a lot about when he was convicted. It was one of those cases that was open and shut about 4 to 5 times over the course of 6 years. And we talked about it a lot. And she convinced me that actually he was innocent. Okay, I don't understand what you just wrote here. It was open and shut 4 to 5 times over the course of 6 years. And we talked about it a lot. Okay, I don't know what she means. So we started dating, and he was nice enough when he was sober, but it was clear that he had some trust issues and couldn't commit due to fear of something happening. I'm an anxious attachment type, so after 4 months, I cut it off because I made me stressed. He also used to get quite verbally mean when drunk. The last time we hooked up, I made it clear that it was the last time. He got very rough and essentially made me cry. I told him to stop, but I don't think he knew I cried. I thought perhaps I was just a bit fragile due to drinking, too. So I stayed friends with him and moved on romantically, as when he was sober, we had a good laugh. Recently, it was International Women's Day, and I made a lot of posts about it on Instagram. Talked to friends, shared some of my female friends' work. He had recently been rejected from a job due to his conviction and was acting very aggressive. He made sarcastic comments about women and laughed at the abuse post, the eggplant abuse post. Hmm. I was so angry that I blocked and deleted him. Then I felt angry at myself. 3 years ago, I was eggplant assaulted by a colleague abroad, and when I tried to report it, nobody believed me. I thought back to all the times I had defended him and essentially dismissed his victim's statement of events just because I knew his family. His sister keeps asking me what happened between us, but I brush it aside. Should I tell her? Do I have the right to let anyone else know? Technically, when he got rough, I told him to stop, and he did. It's more the misogynistic remarks I'm worried about. I'm also currently in a very happy relationship. I don't want to get caught up in anything that could jeopardize that. Okay, so you trying to figure out if you should tell his sister. Why do you think telling his sister would jeopardize your relationship with some other person that's not connected to her? I'm not understanding your thinking here. This chain of these dots that you trying to connect, I'm not connect. I don't understand half your letter to tell you the truth. And then you're upset about the misogynistic remarks, which are just words, opinions. They don't really have any bearing on your life, but you're not mad because of how he got rough, hurt you enough to make you cry. And then you stayed friends with him. Young lady, you have some problems. You need to get yourself some therapy. I'm serious. Right. I mean, I know a lot of people say you need help. I'm not saying it that way. I'm saying that you're thinking about this kind of stuff that has to do with assaults of women and men being violent to them and this kind of your thinking is all confused around and mixed up. It doesn't matter whether he's a friend of a friend or you know because you know his family. Wrong is wrong, and it stays wrong 24/7, 365. Whatever, the fact that he was convicted after a trial means there was enough evidence there to convict him, because that's one of the hardest convictions to get. Because the woman says, well, it wasn't consensual, and the guy says, yes, it was. So the fact that there was evidence which proved that it was an assault, and he got sent to prison, because even if there's any doubt like that, they usually side with the dudes. That's why a lot of women don't even want to report it, because they already know what's going to happen. You see what I'm saying? So I'm kind of confused about why you think that you should have defended him when you experienced that very same kind of aggressive, violent behavior yourself personally. And then you see how he made jokes and laughs about other women being assaulted. I'm really kind of confused about why you would even want to continue a relationship with anyone in that family. I would cut them all loose if I were you. The friend, I would change my number and be done with all of them. And that is what I suggest that you do, as well as get yourself into some therapy. and figure out, what happened to you, where something is twisted and confused to where you don't think you're more upset about some words on a website than you are how this man treated you in real life. See, that's I'm not that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so that's my prescription to you about this letter. Yeah, she's very confused. You're very confused. Okay. Let's move on to question number 9, female 30 to 39 from Winnipeg, Canada. I'm 39. I've been dating a 44-year-old guy for almost a year. On 2 or 3 different occasions, one of my single friends sent me a screenshot of my boyfriend's profile that was found on 2 different apps. Okay, so this happened 2 to 3 times, and that means that you kept dating him. Hmm. When I confronted him about it, he told me each time he hadn't realized that it was still active and that he'd take it down. I couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't an oversight, so I made a fake profile on a third app. I found him in under a minute and sent him a message. About 24 hours later, he responded to that message and was very flirty. Hmm. Obviously, I was hurt and angry. I immediately sent him a text message and told him that it had been me and that we were done. He proceeded to call me repeatedly until I would listen to him. What he told me was that he is addicted to the attention and self-esteem boost he gets from being liked on apps. He says he's not interested in meeting anyone he chats with, and he usually lets it fizzle out a day or two after if she asks to meet up. I asked why he felt the need to chat with these women if the like was where the rush came from. He said that the conversation confirms that a woman is attracted to him, so it's an extension of the like. He told me that he has done this through multiple relationships, but no one has ever found out before. He is an alcoholic, but he's been sober for 12 years. He says that this is a similar addiction and that he will go back to AA, which will reground him to better behaviors. He's insisting that he can stop using the apps to save our relationship, but I'm pretty hesitant to agree to that. Good job. I'm not asking you and the squad whether or not I should continue to date him, although feel free to weigh in on that if you like. What I'm wondering is if anyone else has encountered this type of behavior with themselves or with a partner. Is addiction to dating apps a real thing, or am I just being manipulated and gaslighted? Oh yeah, you being manipulated and gaslighted. Um, and you know what? Going to tell you this. See, this is you. You wrote me, so I'm gonna tell you how I think. I don't give a shit if it's a real thing or not. That's irrelevant. Did he hurt you? The answer to that is yes. Did your friend, send you proof 2 to 3 times, as you said, yet you continued in the relationship until you went through it and then you interacted with him yourself? So that's the fourth time, right? 4 times that you have found out that your boyfriend, the man you calling your boyfriend, is lying to you and dipping and dabbing around with other women on dating apps. Okay, so see, to me, I don't want a relationship like that. It doesn't matter whether it's real. It doesn't matter if he had a drink. It doesn't matter if he was high when he did it. It didn't matter if it was Tuesday. It didn't matter if it was Easter Sunday. It doesn't matter to Deborah. None of that matters. What matters is that you're not conducting yourself like a boyfriend that I would want to have, being loyal to me, you playing games and corner cutting and doing all kind of stupid stuff. I don't want to be bothered with somebody who behaves that way. So see, to me, this relationship would be over. You said it was done, but yet you want to know, is this a real thing? I said, so you still putting all this energy into thinking about him, and and the fact that you asked about this means that you trying to kind of decide if this is a real excuse, and if you have a reason that you can still let him back in your life and still deal with him. That's what you're trying to do. And you think that I'm stupid and I don't know what you're trying to do here. I'm gonna tell you this: if you go back with this man, you're an idiot. You're a fool. Okay, you already know this is not the kind of relationship that you want. What the hell are you doing? What are you doing? Okay? You get yourself in a situation where you're hurting yourself just to have some bonehead ex-alcoholic boyfriend that cheats on you with other women on dating apps. Okay, because he says he lets it fizzle out a day or two. You have no proof of that. Okay? And the fact that he's on the dating apps, it means he's trying to he's exposing himself so he can cheat on you. So whether he actually does it or not is not the point. He's out there fishing. And that to me is the immediate termination. So, your standards might be different than mine, but you wrote to me and asked me what I would do, and that's what I would do. So you say, that's not what you asked, and I don't care. When you write to me, I'm gonna tell you what I think, and you don't get to limit what I say. You don't get to tell me what I'm gonna respond to. I respond the way I damn well please, because you wrote me. Bother my nerves with this stupid shit. Question number 10, female 18 to 21 out of Germany. Hi, Auntie Deb. I watch your show all the time, but this will be my first time reaching out. I'll try to keep this short, but I probably can't because there's a lot to say. Oh, no. When I was 18 last year, I lost my father. I met this guy who's 40. Wait a minute. You were 18 and he was 40? He told me he was a psychiatrist. Since COVID shut down almost all of Germany, I needed someone new who could do it online. After 2 sessions, he started getting personal, talking about how great and sweet I was, how I'd be better off living with him on the other side of the country. Slowly, things got less professional and more personal. Fast forward, he talked me into moving in with him, saying it's because my family's bad for me and I shouldn't live alone because I would get more depressed. He told me he had often done this and had girls moving with him to get better, but that it was different with me because he was in love with me. I thought he was the sweetest man and that he would be my way to get better. He made me leave my mom's house in the middle of the night and move in with him. Hmm. Everything was great for a few days. He was sweet. We had fun, and it didn't seem inappropriate. But after 3 days, he changed. He started talking down to me, not letting me answer my family or talk to anyone. He was telling me I would never get better if I kept talking to them. He was always watching. At some point, he started controlling how often I brushed my teeth. I couldn't do it more than every other day, and even then, he would make fun of me and call me stupid. I couldn't use my phone. I couldn't be sad. If I accidentally brushed the door frame with my shoulder, he would make fun of me and call me an idiot. He started touching me and forcing his hand down my pants, especially in public. Whenever I would tell him off, he would get mad and tell me I'm ugly and fat and I should be happy. He even wanted me because he was used to much prettier girls. Hmm. Finally, in December, I got enough and it was only getting worse with the verbal abuse. I knew that it was wrong and it wasn't just me being messed up thinking that he wanted me to believe. My family took me back, and my mom was so happy I opened my eyes to what was going on. I had been home for a month when I found out I was pregnant. 13 weeks. I told him, and he went crazy, said all sorts of stuff. I tried contacting him multiple times, but he won't answer. He contacts me from fake profiles, and I just block him. I'm not sure if I should keep trying to contact him or just stop. Is it fair that I want to take full custody or should I give him half? Should I encourage them to meet when the baby is born with supervision for baby's sake or not? My mom is giving me and the baby the first floor in her house. She wants to help me while I get all the help I need to process everything. She believes it was grooming and I was manipulated. She doesn't think I should share custody with him. My grandmother thinks I should share with him and that it was my fault for being naive. I know very well that I was naive and stupid for letting it happen, and I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. I'm getting help. Any advice for me, please? I could use it. I'm so sorry. I tried to keep it to a minute, but it still got kind of long. Get his baby up for adoption. This man is a predator. Do you even have any proof that he really was a psychologist? Did you check with whatever they have in Germany where these kind of people are licensed so you can see if his name and everything if he really is a doctor? Or did you just fall for the okey doke because he said he was? I mean, where'd you find this guy? These are things you need to think about. If he is indeed a registered medical professional in the country, then I want you to contact the board and I want you to report him because what he's doing is illegal, is unethical, and is predatory. He is using just saying that he really is this person. He's using his position to prey on girls who are unstable emotionally and mentally. He deals with them enough to find out what their issue is, and then he starts his narc game. Okay, now, why would you want to have a baby by someone like that? See, you're very young, and your parents did a bad job of raising you. I'm gonna just tell you right now, because you don't have no kind of common sense at all. You don't have no street smarts. You don't even suspect anything when something like this is going on. This guy is a joke. This is horrible that this happened to you. But what you should not do is put yourself in a position where he gets continue to victimize you, and you having his baby would give him that power because then he could go to court and get a blood test and prove that it's his kid. And now he might lose his license and all that kind of stuff, but then again, he might not, because he might not be really a psychologist. There's so many unanswered questions here. But the number one thing is your grandmother and your mother are stupid. You need to have that baby and give that baby up for adoption. I don't give a fuck who has that baby. It should never be you. Okay? You want to sever all ties to this man, all of them. And you go get a baby for adoption and say, I don't know who the daddy is. I don't know. I went to a bar, got drunk, and then I don't know who the father is. Here, take this kid. I don't want it. That would be my suggestion for you. Because what you're going to do is put yourself in a position where he's going to have the ability to yank your chain. And then, since he likes to prey on you, and what if you have a little girl and he does the same thing to her? Did you ever think about that? This is a nightmare. And your mother and your grandmother are dumb as hell. That's all I can tell you. They should be lobbying for you. I don't know what they do in Germany about abortions, but at 13 weeks, is that too many? Whatever. I don't know. I don't know anything about what the laws are in Germany about stuff like that. But I'm assuming that was a while ago. So now, you even further along now. Give that shit up for adoption. Cut ties with him. Cut ties with that baby. Move on with your life. They need to put you in school, and I'm glad you're getting some help, but you need to go back to school, and you need to get yourself some education and some street smart, so that you don't fall prey to this kind of stuff again. Yeah, I'm telling you. This is just a nightmare. And then she gonna be trying to share custody with him. That's gonna really be a nightmare. No. You don't listen to your grandmother. Don't listen to your mother either. Listen to me. Get that shit up for adoption. And just end this whole thing. This whole chapter of your life will go with that kid. Okay? Then you can just wipe the memory banks and just go on with your life like it never happened. All right? That would be your best bet. Question number 11, female, 40 to 49, from Birkenhead, Merseyside, England. I don't have no clue where that is. I just found out that I'm pregnant with my second child, and my husband doesn't want it. She's in the 40 to 49 age group. Okay. We've been together for 7 years, and our son is 2.5. It isn't the ideal time, but I'm 41, so I'm conscious that this is my last chance rather. We haven't been using protection for over a year and a half, and I wasn't concerned because I'm fine about having another child. We tried last year because I wanted to, but it didn't happen for us then. I had accepted the fact that it wasn't going to happen, but then it did. However, my husband is adamant that he doesn't have the patience for another child and won't be able to cope. What do I do? He refuses to take responsibility and thinks that the termination is no big deal. My instinct is to tell him to get lost and I'll do it alone, but of course that breaks up the family we currently have. I also don't have family that can help or much of a support network locally, so I feel like he has left me without much choice. Can you give me a few words of advice? Okay, well, you feel like this is your last chance. I'm going to start with you and then I'll get to him in a minute. You feel like this is your last chance, but you don't have any support, and you would have a man who doesn't want the kid. So the relationship that he would have with the child and with you would be very negative. Okay. I mean, he could change his mind, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't bank on that. I'm looking at what he's saying right now. I'm sure he has a reason for it. You didn't share what his reasons were. You just said he doesn't want it, other than, he doesn't feel like he could deal with it. But what does that mean? Well, how could he not deal with it? What's the problem? What is the problem you experienced with this kid? Did he lose his job? He's making less money? I mean, what his health problem? I mean, there's so many questions that you didn't address any of that. So, let's let that go. So you're not prepared to raise this child by yourself because you don't have any support system when you got a 2.5-year-old. Okay, that's a reality. Then you move on to what happened between the two of you. You hadn't been using protection for over a year and a half, and then you guys were trying for a kid last year, but suddenly this year he doesn't want one. See, something had to have happened that you glossed over here that made him, change his mind. Um, but I'm going to say this, and this is what I would tell him. Yes, you did want it. You know why I know you wanted it? Because you was busy boning and you knew that we weren't using any kind of protection. A man who doesn't want a kid would have done strapped up or insisted on some other kind of birth control happening in his household where he doesn't want any children. But that's not what you did. You want to have all the fun and put all the burden of, making sure that you're not sacked with two kids on me. And I'm telling you, that's not right. That's not fair, and that's not gonna happen. So you, lady, if you want to have a second kid, go on and have it. But know it, understand that you may end up divorced and be a single mother of two children. Are you prepared for that? Requires you to think about it. Better think quick before the time passes where, you can terminate if you so choose. The other thing is if you feel resentful because you did have to terminate because of your husband, will the marriage survive that? Or will you be so furious at him, so resentful, and such a rage about it, feeling so depressed and angry about it, feeling like you lost your last chance and all that, that you're gonna hate his guts and the marriage is not gonna survive anyway. So you both in between hell and a hot place in this situation. He could divorce you or you could divorce him. He don't want to be a daddy and you don't want to to terminate. Somebody's gonna win and somebody's gonna lose. It's not like you can negotiate on a kid. I mean, that's a real a real thing. There's no compromise there. Either the kid comes or the kid don't. Okay, it's gonna be one of them two. So if the kid comes, he loses. If the kid goes, he wins, and you lose. So y'all got some real serious thinking to do. Well, the kid ain't don't know nothing. She barely pregnant. It's not really a kid yet. But if she keeps messing around, then it will be. And then it's going to be a problem. Wow. See, she said, I just found out. So this is, she's in the early, very early, early stage. So it's not a kid yet. Wow. That is hard. That's going to be real rough. But those are what you need to think about because those you only got them two choices. Okay. And you have to figure out which one is going to be the lesser of two evils as far as you and your husband and your marriage are concerned. So y'all need to sit down and talk and figure that out. I can't make that decision for you. You know, you have to figure. You're the ones that have to deal with the emotional, financial, and mental ramifications of of those two choices. Let's move on to question number 12. This is a female in the 18 to 21 age group out of Spokane, Washington. So my best friend and I planned a trip together to Hawaii back in November. We plan to live there from late March to late April. Okay, so that's like a whole month. Wow. To celebrate our 21st birthdays. However, she's in a relationship now, and she's adamant that her boyfriend, who's already 21, should come for a week of our trip. He's pushing for this to happen too. Here's where my concern lies. The place we booked is insanely small. It just has one bedroom and no doors inside except for the bathroom. We'd sleep in the bed, he'd sleep in a cot. It's also the only week that she and I are both free. I had told her that although I have some discomfort about the lack of space, he can stay for a few nights as long as he chips in a third for those nights that he's there. She was resistant to the idea of making him pay, but we both settled on that agreement. Well, I guess he plans on staying for a full week now. They have plans to get a hotel for those extra 4 days he's staying. I'd be at the place alone. But she's very upset with me that I wouldn't let him stay in our place for a week and for putting them in a situation where they'd have to pay the lofty hotel fee. And she even said that he and his parents were baffled by my resistance. We got into a big argument about it. I'm now thinking that I reacted to being resistant about him staying in our place for a week. Of course, I'm not entirely comfortable with it because I barely know him and it's my vacation too. But I could have just sucked it up and dealt with a lack of space because it's a month-long stay. She's being very cold and distant now, and I haven't heard from her in 2 days, which is really unlike her. I'm thinking of perhaps just not going on this trip or flying in late that first week. What should I do? Am I being a bad friend? No, you being a perfect friend. She the one being a bad friend. What she was supposed to tell her boyfriend is, I planned this trip before I ever met you. I'm going on the trip with my girl. You not going. I'll see you when I get back. That's what she's supposed to say. The one who's being a bad friend here is her. And this dude, why would you want to go on a trip with two girls? There's something weird about that too. But this I don't know. I don't like dudes like this that feel like they need to keep up with you and be up under you all the time. This is a problem. This is a problem. Now, if I were you, I would tell her, give me all my money back and I would go on a trip somewhere else with somebody else. Give me my money back and y'all can have that place. I'm not going on the trip. I want my money back though, because if I have to give, if I'm paying my money, then he's not going. And that's just the way it's going to be. End of discussion. So you either give me my money back or, if she don't want to give you your money back, then you can sue her for the money back. Cause I don't know. See, me thing, if you show me that you're not really my friend, you going chasing after some new dude that you just met, and you putting him before our friendship, our long term friendship, and this thing that we planned together last year. See, I'm gonna be looking at you all kind of crazy, and I'm gonna understand that you don't have the friendship that I have in mind for that I thought that we had. So if I want my money, I don't put $2,000 towards this trip and you not gonna give me my money back, I'll see your ass in court, bitch. How about that? Because yeah, and I hope that your boyfriend got the money to cover it too. Because that's about what happened. You totally just changed the plan for the trip and destroyed everything by trying to change the plan. I didn't plan that. Yeah, she's not a friend at all. She's on some stupid, desperate broad that's chasing up behind some man and trying to throw her girlfriend under the bus. Why would you want your man somewhere with you and your girl in a cottage? That's what it sounds like. It's like a studio cottage because the only place where there's a door is the bathroom. No, that don't even sound right. As a woman, I wouldn't want my man there. No, you're not going. Me and my girls there. Yeah, I'll be in small claims court with the receipts and the plans showing the emails and text to show that there was no plan at all for this man that she just met this clown. And suddenly she's trying to inconvenience me. When I done paid my money based on these representations and these plans, I want all my money back and I'm not going. And I would sue her. And that would just be that. The relationship, the friendship would be over. But just judging by this, it's already over. You see what I mean? It's already over. She's chose this man over her friend. Woo! Question 13, male, 30 to 39 from the Washington, D.C. area. I'm falling for someone who has been cheated on multiple times. We are both 30 and black. I would love some advice on how to best approach our relationship and how to make her see how amazing she actually is. Wow. She is the most beautiful, sweet, funny, wonderful woman. We talk all the time and like each other a lot, but she's really struggling with self esteem issues because of how badly she's been hurt in the past. It legitimately breaks my heart because she's the most amazing person I've ever met. This is so sad. And it's so sad for me to see someone so special think so lowly of herself. I'm trying to be patient with her and give her the space that she needs, but I also don't want to pull back so far that she doesn't feel wanted and loved. I feel like I'm trying to walk this really tight, confusing line. Hmm. I'm a man. I've never been cheated on. I have no idea what she's going through. I want to treat her like a queen, but she doesn't think that she deserves it. She doesn't even think she deserves to get married. She goes from hot to cold all the time. She'll often tell me how she is not good enough for me and then seek attention from other guys, and it hurts. And I don't want to be fake with her. I just tell her that she wants to hear in order to get her to commit to me. I refuse to manipulate her and play those types of games, which, though not malicious, seems to be most of the type of advice I get from my guy friends. Yeah, because they're stupid. I don't want to play hard to get her to do any of the fake stuff. I just want to be straight and actually love her right. The last thing I want is to accidentally hurt her out of my own ignorance. I would love some advice on how to best pursue and honor her. Things like that maybe most guys don't often consider in situations like this. Thanks. I'm going to talk to you like if you were my son. Okay? I'm going to talk to you just like that. And it doesn't matter about what most dudes do and this and that. I would suggest you get some new friends though, some that have like a higher vibration, because these are some low level scum roach fools telling you that kind of stuff. But what you have to do, sir, I'm going to explain this to you. Like I said, like if you were my son, I would sit you down. I would say, son, the love that you want to give to this woman, she is mentally and emotionally unprepared to accept it. Not only does she not is she unable and incapable of accepting it, she turns around and hurts you by attention seeking from other guys, so to the point where it's in your face and it's like a disrespect thing. She knows how you feel about her. And either she should say, well, I don't feel the same about you. Let's cut this off. Or just give it a shot. She's not really doing either one. She just has you in this no man's land, which, is something at 30 years old you should recognize and you should cease and desist. So, son, what I want you to do is to start dating other girls. And then you sit down with her and you say, look, I, told you how I feel about you. what I would like to see happen here, but you're doing this, you're doing that, you're saying this, you're saying that. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a shrink, I can't fix you. You making no moves to fix yourself. So as far as I'm concerned, whatever it was I was trying to do here, it's not gonna happen. And so I'm gonna give you space to work that out, and I'm going to go on and start dating other people that are ready for what I'm ready for. Now, if you go see a shrink and you get yourself your mind right and you ready to, kind of step it up and match me step for step, then we can, check this out and see what we can do together. But for now, I'm gonna put the brakes on this. I wish you the best, and I'm out. That's what you need to do. I know you don't want to do that. I know you think that this woman is perfect for you and all of this, but she's damaged. She's very damaged. She's never gonna be able to commit to you the way that you want her to. Okay, you live in a pipe dream. Cut her loose and move on. At 30 years old, you don't have that kind of time to waste. You got the next couple of years, you're gonna be like getting married and being somebody's daddy. And there are a lot of women out there that that you could like and love, and they'll be great wives for you, great mothers for your children, great daughter-in-laws for your parents. All kind of stuff could be wonderful. But right now, you're stuck on someone who is so broken that she's never going to be able to give you that. Okay, that you got to start looking at yourself. Am I being one of them passive avoid? Commitment phobic types where I'm choosing someone who I know is never going to work out so I can pretend like I'm going to be so committed, but I never really have to address my own commitment issues because I'm so focused on hers. So, if you missed that, I talked about it earlier. I also talked about it on Sunday. No, I don't have a son. Oh, I thought you said I got, yeah, exactly. I don't know that she's a female narc. Come on now, y'all putting too much on it. The girl is just, she's just messed up. And as that happens a lot, if you get lied to and cheated on enough times, you don't trust people. You don't trust it when someone tells you that they love you and they be with you and all stuff because that's the same thing that the other people said, and look how that ended up. Okay, so that's not a narc. That's somebody who's broken. The girl is just, she messed up. And so she just can't trust her own judgment because she was picking people based on their representations, just like he's making that I'll treat you like a queen, I'll love you, I'll be just, this and that, blah, 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 girl, that. And then look what happened. That's what she's thinking about. She don't want to get hurt again. Question number 14, female 30 to 39 from London. I've listened to videos and read blog posts about the downside of dating people with children, and it's triggered me to ask this question as I'm curious about what your take is. Hmm. Wait, I have to have a swig. Oh, it's been so long since I had wine. I'm like, I'm out of practice of drinking it. Okay. I don't know if I like this. It's Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a little heavy for me. I usually drink Pinot. All right. Um, so she says, would it put you off dating someone if they had large dogs? Personally, I love dogs, cats, and anything cute and fluffy. As a general rule, I'm more than happy to date men with pets. However, I've just let a potential dating prospect go due to my conclusion that we're incompatible because of his dogs. Let me explain. He has two very large dogs, one of each sex, that weigh about 125 pounds each. Wow. They are absolutely enormous. Temperament wise, you couldn't ask for nicer dogs. They're friendly, playful, and don't have an aggressive bone in their body. But they're so huge and very, very strong. Due to the sheer size of them, one of them accidentally injured me whilst on a date/walk. My date asked me to hold the lead while he picked up poop. The dog went running and I went flying. Aside from the embarrassment of landing face down on hard ground in front of my date, I could barely walk. I was that battered and bruised. Oh. It took a week before the swelling on my knees went down. It was very painful. By the way, I don't weigh as much as as one of these dogs. The thought of having these two enormous animals in my life full time was too much to bear. I also have two young children, and I naturally hear a lot of concerns about my children's safety around animals this size. The dogs jump up a lot, knock furniture over all the time, and they like to sit on each other's heads, etc. Added into the mix is that these dogs are exceptionally messy. They poop for Britain. I don't know what that means, about 4 times a day each, and they are both mature, meaning potentially pups are on the way. All in all, I concluded that it just wouldn't work. My date thought it was a ridiculous reason to not continue dating, and whilst I appreciate it sounds ridiculous, I think it's valid. What is your opinion, Deb, in the squad? Would you not date someone because of their dog? Okay, let's start at the beginning of anything fluffy and furry. Deb has allergies to animal dander. I don't do fluffy and furry. I can't go to people's houses that have cats. I can't go to people's houses that have dogs, that live inside. I'm so allergic. I even struggle sometimes. Like when my car was in the shop, I have to take the bus. One time, this lady was sitting, like I'm sitting by the window, right, and she sat in the seat next to me, and she had cat hair all over her clothes. By the time I got off the bus, 20 minutes later, my asthma had kicked in. I had to use my puffer thing. That was that was just from somebody sitting next to me. Okay, that's how allergic I am to animal dander. I can't do it. I physically, health wise, cannot handle it. So for me, that would have been an instant no. I'm not trying to die to date you. Have my lungs shut down and stuff. That wouldn't happen. Then you already experienced as an adult. You experience how untrained his animals are. He has not trained his animals to behave correctly. So here you are, an adult, small woman, and they send you flying. What do you think they would do to your little kids if they jumped on them? I think as a mom, you're doing exactly what you should have been doing, which is not just thinking about yourself, but thinking about your children and how you can protect them and what makes sense. This relationship for you makes no sense. And what he needs to do is get his dogs in some kind of obedience school, sitting on each other's heads and running off, jumping with the lead. If he says stay, they're supposed to stay. And I don't care if they sit there for an hour, you don't move. That's a well trained animal. His animals are not trained. So these are very dangerous. And even though they're not, violent animals, they're still dangerous because they can accidentally hurt someone really, really badly because they're so big. I personally think that you're on track. I wish more women thought not just about the immediate, but looked into the future as you are, weighed the options and weighed the did your cost benefit analysis, and you figured out real quick that dude was not about. This was not the situation for you, and good. Very, very good thinking. Good job. Let's move on to question number 15. We got 26 questions for those of you who are interested. 26 questions. Female, 30 to 39, out of the city of Westminster in the UK. My partner of 2 years has been liking videos of what seems to look like women, but with male bits, if you know what I mean. I just love this English lingo. Male bits. Could this be a joke? They only have a few hundred likes, and he's liked lots of them. I'm starting to wonder. Hmm, I don't want to confront him, but it's very concerning. He's one of those that's over the top masculine, but now I'm wondering if this could be a front. What do you think? I'm smelling the dumping. I'm hearing they're playing taps on this relationship. Dun, 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 dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. That means it's over. I couldn't do it. How long has you been with dude? I forgot that quick. 2 years. Oh, nah, we're done here. And that's I don't know. I as a woman, yeah, I just get yeah, in that cute male bits. This thing I understand this that's very popular. These lot of dudes they be on these sites talking about, oh, I'm looking for a chick with a little extra. They want to a date a trans person. And I'm like, well, that's fine. You could do that. I would never tell you what you cannot do. But what I'm going to tell you is what you can't do while I'm there. And while I'm in your life, you can't do that. So you could go over there and have that. You feel free, just have that as much as you want to. But you will be doing it without me. I'm not going to be doing that. And a lot of these guys, they do try to overcompensate by being like extra masculine. I mean, as cover. So that's what I think. You asked me what I think, and I'm thinking, like I said, I'm hearing taps. I'm hearing it. I'd be out. Question number 60. That reminds me. Remember that? Yeah, that's what a little extra mean. Jamie, you wasn't knowing, girl. Yes, that's what that means. Remember a couple of weeks ago on one of the advice columns, we had the lady who found out her man was wearing lingerie, like he had like a his little stash with his pink lacy underpants. A lot of these dudes are kind of messed up. They got some weird proclivities. We're just a normal dude, just normal, you know. The ones that you could yell at because he want to wear the same underwear that he had in high school and they have giant holes in them, but he don't want to throw them away because they're comfortable. At least they're, men's draws. These dudes, I don't know. They all over the place. They just this sexual fluidity. I can't do it. I want you firmly in one camp or the other. Okay. Question 16, female 22 to 29 out of Toledo, Ohio. I consider myself to be very close to my family, and I do love them very much. We are all pretty close, but I've never felt so alone with them. My parents have a history of drug problems that have been going on for the better part of 10 years now. Wow. It started with my father, who's always been in and out of jail my whole life, and I believe my mother was soon after him. They're always 50-50 with each other. Some days they are the best and so lovable and happy, and the other days they are so mean and abusive to each other. That's probably from drug usage. My mother doesn't seem as deep as my father, but she denies it all. I know that they are good on the inside, but because of their actions, they are living in motels and always asking me for money and trying to hustle, which leaves them in this giant hole they can't get out of. I usually help as much as I can because I have younger siblings and I know what's going on is scaring them. My 21-year-old sister is now invested in that terrible world and she started using too. It breaks my heart to see them like this and to know that they are suffering. I know that the world is on hold this past year, but it felt like this is going on for the better part of 10 years now, and I'm ready to talk about it and resolve my issues finally. I feel like some days I go into an intense depression that I can't seem to shake. When my mom calls me crying because of my father or sister's mental abuse, it breaks my heart into pieces, and I go into a rage and start sobbing uncontrollably. When this happens, I feel like a little girl inside again, and it's the worst feeling in the world. I'm in a loving relationship with the perfect man. I don't want this to affect it. I don't particularly appreciate sharing when I have to give them money or send them food, which I know is wrong. I want this to be over with. I want my family back. I'm not sure what to do from here. Can you help me, please? Yes. Immediately change your phone number. Immediately. What you're going to do is cut ties with your family for your own mental and emotional safety. And you know what? Your parents have younger siblings. Is that your problem? Did you lay up there and make them? That's not your problem. I hate to say that, but it's not your issue, young lady. You at 21 are trying to take on the burden for what your parents did. That's not your problem. If there's any concern that you have about them, I want you to call social services and I want you to get a social worker over there to put your younger siblings in foster care. That's what needs to happen. Okay? They need to be away from this environment in someplace that's stable, where they can get fed, where there's not, drug use going on and all this kind of stuff. If you want to, you can be involved in the selection of the foster home. No, you can interview the foster parents, all kind of stuff. But what you're not gonna do is send any money. What you're not gonna do is get involved. What you're not gonna do is listen to their problems. What you're not gonna do is try to take on the burden of their problems. You're not gonna do anything like that. You are gonna cut ties with all of that and live your life separate and apart from them. Okay? Because it sounds like even your 21-year-old sister got involved in it. Oh wait, that's right. Your sister 21. So how old are you? Hmm. Oh, you don't say. You're in the 22 to 29-year-old age, so you at least probably 22, 23, since she's your younger sister and she's 21. But whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You could be 30. It's not your concern. It's not your problem. That is, what you're doing right now is called codependency. Look it up if you don't understand it. Look it up on Google and then read all about it, and you'll see that that's what's going on with you. They have groups, Codependent No More. It's kind of like AA, like Alcoholics Anonymous, and you go and you don't have group with other people who are in the same situation as you. And I think that would be a good place for you to start. Okay. Look it up and see. I don't know what they're doing now in the era of COVID. That's a good question. But I do know, it's a national organization and Codependents Anonymous, and look into it. Even if they don't have that, with AA, they have a group for the children of these people, and it's called Al-Anon. and they definitely have those, but it's like, the relatives of alcoholics. It's the same principle, and they provide support for each other so that you get escape codependency. Please look into something like that. But in the main thing you do, get up and change your number tomorrow so that they can't call you anymore. Okay, you got to start separating yourself from these people. I know it's gonna be hard, but you got to do it. Otherwise, you're gonna go sink down into that hole with them. Question 17, male 22 to 29 from Derby, England. I hate myself for this, and it's by far my worst trait. I'm in the UK. There's been a massive outpouring of conversation about women's experiences of sexual harassment, lack of safety, etc. A woman was kidnapped and then killed by a serving police officer. What? There's been a lot of talk about what men need to do to be better and help solve this culture that means that women can never feel safe and constantly have to worry about their lives. I've been talking with a close female friend, the members of my family, etc., about it. And while I like to think there's some good understanding about all this before that situation, a lot of the stories I heard from them and the stories I've been seen shared on social media, the times guys have failed to protect the women they're close to, etc., has been a massive eye opener for me. I knew things were bad, but somehow there's so much worse I could have ever imagined. And honestly, thinking about it all makes me feel so profoundly sad and helpless. The worst thing is I'm part of the problem. Because even though women have been begging for guys to speak up, saying it's not enough to just agree silently and not say something when a friend goes too far, I'm too much of a coward to say anything. I've always been too much of a people pleaser to start an argument with people, but some of my friends have hit out with some pretty horrible misogynistic jokes, and in the wake of this, I've been seeing constant defensive talk of, like, quote, women take everything too seriously. They just want an excuse to hate men, etc. Wow. One bitter friend who went through a bad breakup recently just straight up said, I hate women. Plain as day. What do I do? Nothing apart from a weak yeah. Some things said about men are a bit too far, but I think guys really do need to take a look at their actions. I have no backbone. I'm 23 years old. I should have grown out of this shit by now. But I can't bring myself to tell someone they're behaving like an effing asshole. And most of my friends do when it comes to women, and I've been seeing some pretty worrying behavior from a couple of them. I could be the one to try to stop that in its tracks, but I'm too anxious, desperate to be liked, and scared to say anything substantial. How do I stop being such a people pleaser in general? I really want to be someone who doesn't stand for this shit, but I've always struggled massively with the fear of confrontation. I do always try to gently nudge my friends without confrontation when these topics come up, and sometimes a decent one listens, but when the things that get said step over the line, I end up staying silent out of fear of an argument. I want to be better and no longer want to contribute to the kind of culture that lets this happen. I just don't know how to get over my anxiety around being honest and standing up for what I believe in. Okay, I applaud you for recognizing it and having your eyes open. That's half the battle because most men are still in denial. Because the first thing they want to say, well, it's not all men, instead of saying, well, yeah, it is a lot of men, and it might be all of us, because we do, we either be like this and accept it and just listen to it and laugh at the jokes, or we are the active ones actually doing it. So, in a sense, it's all men. What I find most amazing is that the standard of manhood has fallen so low. And I'm not directing this at you, I'm talking in general. The standard of manhood has fallen so low that you have people like this. Men are set to be protectors and providers. Instead, you're the ones that we need protecting from, especially a police officer. There's like, that's their vow, that's their oath that they take when they get their badge, to protect and serve. And then here he is being the one who victimized and even murdered somebody. You're right. It's a horrible, horrible thing. But I can't really tell you what to do, young man. All I'm telling you is that you can investigate some therapy, because there's some reason why you feel afraid to speak up and why you feel like you need to people please complete strangers or people who have no consequence to your life. Have you ever thought about that? These guys that you have, I mean, what are they bringing to your life that's a positive? Are they paying you? Are they supporting you? Are they your boss so you work with them? I mean, what is it that you are so afraid of losing by speaking up? Let's start there. Because it's like they're not doing nothing. They just some dudes mouthing off. But this is what I was talking about the other day, you girls, where it's more important to men to be approved by the pack than it is for them to stand on their own and do what they know is the right thing to do. This is a worldwide problem with men. They are weak as fuck. And it's like, and this is like a problem everywhere. It's not just with him. They just are very weak in the mind. So they need all this support and all this, pumping up and camaraderie with all these knucklehead loser dudes to feel like that's more important to them. They're standing up for their sisters, their nieces, their female friends, their female co-workers. It's more important to them to be seen and liked and get approval of knucklehead jerk sexist pigs than it is to do what they know is the right thing to do. That's some amazing shit to me. Thanks, Jamie. Oh, Jamie gonna buy me some new wine, yeah, because this get ready to go down the garbage disposal. I'm afraid I'm not really. At least I know now. I don't really like Cabernet. At least not this brand. I. It's just amazing to me. And I tell you, if I had a son like this, I would be kicking his ass from here to kingdom come. You little punk! I didn't raise you like this. What the fuck is wrong with you? This is a problem. So, young man, um, that would be my start with you. You see if you can get into some group because it's less expensive than one on one. But find out what happened to you that makes you so needy for this kind of approval of jerks that you are afraid to speak up and confront them. They're jerks. Okay, did you ever really think about that? These people that you're trying to please and placate are jerks. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? What is it you're afraid of? That's something that I can't answer for you. Only you can answer that question. And then as far as your friends go, perhaps you should investigate new ones. Guys who operate at a higher vibration, just like I told a guy earlier tonight. These guys are like low level roach idiots. And the more that you are around people like this, you absorb their energy. Okay, if you don't want to end up being like them or for people to think that you're like them, then you have to separate yourself from them because that birds of a feather flock together thing. Okay, find some men who think the way that you want to be. You find older guys to mentor you so that help you develop into the man that you want to be. You don't hang around with people who are trying to pull you down, who are trash. That's not how you do. If you want to elevate yourself and become a better person, you affiliate with people who are the people that you want to be. They'll help you become that. If you affiliate with people who are trash, they'll help you become that too. So you have to choose which one you want. Okay, but the main one thing is you have the right to say, "Look, man, I don't want to hear that kind of conversation." That's not a confrontation. That's telling what you don't want to hear. And if he says, "Why not? You just this, you just said no. You're that. You're this and that." I told you that I don't want to hear that. That's disrespectful. I have women in my family that I love and care about. I don't want to hear you talk about women like that. Stop it. And if he doesn't want to do it, then you walk off and you cut ties with him. It's that simple. I'm a woman and I could do that. So I really don't understand why men have such struggle with that so much. And you want to call yourself leaders. You can't be a leader if you falling behind some knuckleheads all the time. You scared to stand up to them. That's not gonna work. Yeah. My favorite low level roach motherfucker. That's one of my favorite phrases to put out on somebody. But that is definitely what these guys are. Just trash. Let's move on. I hope you do better. Keep me posted on what your progress. Because I really appreciate the fact that your heart's in the right place, but you got to make your actions match your words and your feelings and your behavior. Everything has to be in sync. Everything has to match up. Right now, you saying one thing, but you doing another, and that's not working for me. Question 18, female 20 to 29 from Tucson, Arizona. 2.5 years after our breakup, my ex got in touch with me. We had stopped all contact, but in the last year, I heard a lot of news about him. And when we met once, we exchanged basic conversation. I was pretty sure that I had moved on and had dated another guy for like 6 months. And it seemed like my ex dated a girl too, but he broke up with a year ago. He suddenly messaged me and wanted to know what I was up to. He also showed too much eagerness about us becoming friends. I bet he did. It's been 3 months now since he started texting me. Sometimes he sends me messages about our past, like why we broke up. He also asked me if I trust him now, and I told him that I don't know him anymore. It's been too long. And then he responds saying that we should become close again so I can see that I can trust him. Mm. We broke up because I had trust issues with him. I know that maybe I had been too silly and insecure, but at that time it got to me because he was my first relationship. The words he said and his actions didn't seem to match when it came to some things, especially other girls. Maybe I was too insecure as a person, but something in my mind had always told me that something was up. I grew tired of always being doubtful of him. And when my closest friend told me that my boyfriend had asked out his girlfriend, I confronted him and he asked me if I trusted him. And at that point, I didn't. So I told him no. That's how we broke up. Sometimes he says the sweetest things that I waver a little. Does he like me? Does he want me back? What do you think of the situation? I think you get caught in the trap and you being stupid. Block that fool and stop talking to him. He trying to wangle his way around so he can just tap that ass. That's all that's about. You thinking that he's going to get some grand romance started. He just wants to screw you. That's it. Okay, this is not romantic and it's not rocket science. That's what he talking about. Oh, the past and don't you trust me and all this kind of stuff. He's trying to see if you stupid. And the fact that you're entertaining him, kind of gives him a clue that maybe you are, right? Because you didn't trust him. So when he asked you, well, do you trust me? You're supposed to say, no, I didn't trust you then. I don't trust you now. You're an untrustworthy motherfucker. You trifling and full of shit. Get off my phone and forget that you know me just like you did the last 2.5 years. I didn't want to talk to you then, and I don't want to talk to you now. You're a waste of air. You're a waste of life. You shouldn't even be alive because you wasted resources on the planet. You trifling piece of donkey shit. That's the kind of stuff you should be saying to him. You shouldn't be entertaining his silly conversation and asking you, do you trust me? And, he's being polite and sweet and all this old shit. Don't you recognize seduction when you see it? Ooh, you all is just so young in the mind. You don't just really know stuff. In the 22 to 29 age group, I don't know where you are on that scale, but you was with these 2.5 years after you broke up and you was with him for all that time. So, I mean, you can't be a spring chicken. So you got to at least be in your mid-20s. You ought to know better than this. You saw some dude who was, tripping around and asking out other women and stuff to where you had witnesses, and he didn't even care, and you still talking to him? Oh, shut up, Arlie. That's funny. I'm just saying. I'm like, I just, Jamie, I see what you typed over there. I don't know. I don't have this kind of patience to either even entertain this. You let somebody who did something like that to me call me and see how much I blow his hair back. He would be bald by the time I finished with him. But he wouldn't be able to get because I would have blocked him already, unless he called from some other number. But I'm the kind that doesn't answer my phone if I don't recognize the phone number. I look at it and I don't know what the number is, it's just gonna go to voicemail. You don't have to leave a message, but then again, you're never gonna get me. It better pop up with your name on it. That means I know who you are. But other than that, I'm not answering the phone because talking to me on the phone is a privilege. And the fact that you have been denied that privilege, your privilege has been revoked. You don't get to call. You don't get to talk to me. That's just the way it is. So you guys that don't think that way about yourselves and you still entertain the foolishness of your exes that dogged you out. I don't understand that. I don't understand why you are so interested in wasting your time with some trash from the past. Hmm. Let's move on. Question 19. Female 30 to 39 from Oklahoma City. This is more just me getting stuff off my chest and gaining the courage to end this. I've been with this guy for 16 years without marriage, but at least we don't have any kids. I have dealt with infidelity, breaking up, and emotional abuse. Why? We are just so toxic together. It's sad. I have looked over the years and stress learning from mistakes and growing. He looks at what has happened over the years and uses it as an excuse. He does not work nor help out with any of the bills, but say I don't respect him as a man. If I'm in a bind, I have to rely on family and not him. He wants control over the bank account to which I will not give, and his response is to blow and demand money regardless of the bills. Wow. When I mentioned to him about the priority of bills, I'm the problem because I don't know how to budget money. If something goes wrong, it's my fault. For example, I fixed dinner. He complained the chicken was not thoroughly cooked, to which I apologized and offered mine. Oh no, he laughed and said it was a sign that he needs to look out for himself. I offered to get something, to which his response was he didn't want me to get him anything, as he will handle it. When I mentioned his attitude, this is my head and I'm the problem. Honestly, this is a constant occurrence, and I'm just getting the nerve to leave as I mentally can't take it anymore. Am I wrong? Now, yes, you are. You're wrong. You know why you're wrong? Because you've been dealing with this shit for 16 years. You should have been dealing with this for 16 minutes. That's what you're wrong about. You in the 30 39 age group and wasted the prime years of your life in your 20s with this idiot. That's what you did. Yeah, you're wrong. You treated yourself very poorly. You disrespected yourself messing with this fool. He wants control over the money. Why are you with him? Move out. Get your own place in this. This is stupid. And it's like I'm getting the courage. You should have been gone. And you're talking about, the chicken was not thoroughly cooked. Then you would take his plate and throw it in the trash can or dump it out the window or something. Say, since you're not going to eat it, and you offered him yours, he would starve waiting for me to give him my food. I wouldn't give a fuck. You could eat I don't know what you're going to do. There's some dog shit out on the line. You can put that on some crackers. Pretend like it's pate. Make it work for you. I don't know what you're going to do. I don't really give a shit. But whatever it is, it's not going to have nothing to do with me because I cooked my dinner and I'm fixing to eat. Stuff like that. He don't want to do any work. He does not work and doesn't help you with the bills. You don't and he says you don't respect him as a man. How could you respect somebody like that? He's a bum. He's a dusty bum. Did you ever tell him that? Real men work and real men pay bills, and that ain't you. So you don't get that kind of respect because that you're not performing like a man. You performing like a gigolo or something. You don't get any respect as a man. But and your family is coming through for you. You let me be your family. You got some full. You got a whole man, a whole grown man at your house, sponging off of you that you supporting, and you gonna come and ask me for something, and you laying up there in the bed with him every night, and you can't. He's not doing nothing for you. You gonna come and ask me? I can't tell you how hard you would have got cussed out asking me for something. You would have come at every kind of dumb bee I could have thought of. Desperate, stupid, all kind of stuff would have been in front of that. Because this doesn't make no damn sense. So I don't know what you're gonna do about this, but let me just summarize by telling you you're being extremely stupid. You're acting desperate, dumb, like you don't have no self-esteem at all, ever, never had none, and you spent 16 that's almost 20 years of your life messing around with this trashy fool. What the hell are you thinking? I just don't understand it. Anyway, let's move on. Listen to the video I did on Sunday, please. Also, listen to the one I did a few weeks ago on low value men, because this is what you got, a low value trash man. This is unbelievable. Question number 20 of 26. So we're nearing the end of this nightmare. Female, 20 to 29 from Los Angeles. Auntie, I have always been very open with the fact that I don't want children and I never will. That life just is not for me. My boyfriend has also said he would never want children. He has never once said that he would change his mind. We have talked about marriage and future together the whole 9 yards. But I made a joke about removing my uterus, and he got so upset and admitted that he might want kids and that I might change my mind too. I told him that I never would. I just don't have the motherly instinct. He told me that if we get married and he changed his mind one day and wanted kids, then he would leave me. He seemed mad when I was heartbroken over this. What do I do? You get rid of him. Is this rocket science? He wants something that you don't want. Like I said earlier, kids are not negotiable. There's no compromise on that because you either have them or you don't. They're here or they're not. Okay? There's no partial kid, a ghost kid that you see sometimes. There's no that. You either a parent or you're not. So you don't want to be a parent. He's talking about, well, I might want to be a parent. That means deuces. Because we got something that's an insurmountable difference. Like they call it in divorce court, irreconcilable differences. That's what you all two have. So you can entitled to be heartbroken because he changed his program. He was talking about he might want kids, but that's not a gamble that you can take, and that's what you need to tell him. I don't want to be in a position where I'm married to you, loving you, trying to build a future with you, and I already told you that I don't want you. When we got together, I told you I didn't want kids. You changed you changed the deal. You changed the contract under which we agreed to be in this relationship. So there's no point in us continuing this relationship. I want you to get your shit and get out of my house. Go. Bye. And I'm not marrying you. I'm not going to date you. I don't even want to look at you anymore. Get out. And that's, girlfriend, as harsh as that is, that's what you have to do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts here. There's no compromise. There's no negotiation. If he wants to be somebody's daddy and you don't want to be nobody's mama, then you two cannot be in a relationship. You cannot continue this. Okay? It's not going to work. Ever. That's the hardcore reality. I'm sorry. I know it's going to hurt, but it's you got to let this go. You'll find somebody else. You're young. You're only in 2029 age group. Plenty of people you could date. Question number 21, male, 18 to 21, from Townsville, Australia. I've been dating my girlfriend for about 8 months now. We are both 20 years old. We have a really good relationship, and I trust her completely. But I literally always, he put always in caps, have to be talking to her. Like I need her texting me 24/7 or I'll freak out. Like have a panic attack and sweat and shake. What? I I know, and he put no in caps. She isn't doing anything wrong and would never cheat on me, but like I know for a fact she's such a good girlfriend that treats me well. So it's very frustrating to her that I need her texting me all the time. And if she doesn't reply, I'll call her until she answers. And I mean, she's never doing anything bad if she's not with me, but she's at work or hanging out with her girls or her family. So I don't understand why I can't chill out and let her be. Is there any way to help me be less clingy or give me advice as to why I act this way? Do you want the truth or the politically correct answer? Because the truth is, you act this way because you stupid. Okay. The politically correct answer would be, oh, my God, you're having some issues with your self esteem and you probably should see a counselor and start working on that. But the bottom line is, you stupid and you treat this girl crazy. And you know what? She's going to get fed up with you and she's going to dump you. That's what's going to happen. And then all this anxiety and stuff that you have, you're going to get to feel it all the time, every day, because she's not going to take your calls. She's not going to want to see you. And she's going to be on about her business with a guy who has some confidence and who lets her be. Can you imagine? How do you have a job with somebody or go to attend class or do anything? It's your study groups and all this kind of stuff when somebody wants you to be texting them and talking to them constantly. Who do you think has that time or energy to be dealing with your fears and your lack of confidence? Oh my God, this would he would drive me crazy. He would I wouldn't have lasted one day with a man like this. I don't even like it. I had this one guy. Okay, he called me in the morning. Right now, we just had started talking. I mean, I met him, and it was cool. I mean, I don't commit. I don't really say too much. I just give them time to expose their stupidity, which they inevitably do. So, I went out with him, and so I met him, and then we went out, lunch or dinner, something, and so then it was. Okay, so okay, just say 2 days later. I think it was only one, but I'm gonna just say two. So then he calls me in the morning. Hi, good morning, all the stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. Usually in the morning I'm kind of busy, so I don't really have time for that, but whatever. And so I said, yeah, I gotta go. I'm getting drinking my coffee stuff. I'm on the run. I've got to go downtown. I got to do this and that. And so, I'll talk to you later. Okay, later. Later does not mean an hour later. Later to me means tomorrow. Maybe late tonight, but as long as tomorrow, not an hour later. So I'm driving, trying to get to where I'm trying to go, traffic, and then the phone rings again, and it's him. Oh, hi. What, is something wrong? Because I'm like, I mean, is this some critical crisis or something that you want to tell me about? Oh, no, I just wanted to see, how you're doing. I said, didn't I just talk to you? Because I'm starting to think, was it me? Did I forget something? I mean, was I dreaming? He's like, "Oh, I know, but I just want to hear the sound of your voice. I just missed you." Keep in mind, I've been on one date with this fool and maybe talked to him on the phone a time or two. This is inappropriate. Okay, so I can feel myself. I have claustrophobia. People who have claustrophobia have issues with feeling pressured and commitment kind of issues. I will commit to you, but only if I want to. And you're not gonna pressure me into it. You better give me some space, and I'll make that choice to come to you, and deal with you when I want to. But other than that, leave me alone. Don't call me too much. Don't text me too much. Give me space. So okay. Now this is two times in an hour that I've already talked to him. And then we went out, a day or two before. So I'm in my meeting and stuff. So this is about, I don't know, later the afternoon. He calls me again. Now I'm with the people, so I can't really cuss him out. I said, I can't really talk right now. I'll tell you when I'm done. So he's happy. He thinking this, we going to have a conversation. He going to occupy my time. So when I got home, I called him and I said, I'm not going to see you anymore. And so he's like, why? Why? I said, because you call too much. I don't have time for this. I am super busy. I told you that when we met. I'll make time for people, when I have time for you, but I don't have this kind of time to sit around talking to you all day and being on the phone all day. I don't have that kind of time. I can't be on the phone all night either because I usually work at night. That's the time when I was writing my books and stuff. So I'm busy, I'm busy trying to do that. I do my other stuff in the daytime, and then I'm solitary writing my books, shutting everything off, phone, TV, nothing is on while I'm writing. And he was interfering with that, and so he had to go, and that was that. So you have brocophobia. I just don't. I just cannot with these clingy type of dudes. So a guy like this, that would have never worked for me. Okay, let's move on to question 22. Female 20 to 29 age group out of Beaumont, Texas. I've been seeing someone for the last couple of years. I'm an adult but live with my parents and rely on them to be a single mom and only work part time. He also lives with his parents and has an under the table business as a mechanic. I'm 27 and he's 34. My family hates him, so our relationship was secret. He had a history of drug abuse, which he had been clean for more than 3 years and is doing well. He also has a history of domestic violence. I've known him for years, and even in high school, he was physically abusive to his girlfriend. He has had issues with all of his long term girlfriends. There's always some physical abuse on his end. Okay, somebody tell me why you know this. You know this, and it started when he was in high school, and he's had a situation with every girl that he's ever been with. What would possess you to date him? Now, if y'all have a clue about that, put it in the chat room because I'll read it later because I'm very curious. Okay, I'm very curious. Somebody who, has can think outside the box about something like this, please explain it to me. Okay. So then she goes on and says he has a quote excuse for it all. She hit me first, she was cheating, etc. He has never been physically abusive with me, but he's thrown stuff in my direction. However, he never actually touched me. Part of me thinks this is only because he knows he can't hide me because we don't live together. After all, my family would see. He has, however, been very verbally abusive. He blames it on me. It's my fault because I hide him from my family. I've told him repeatedly I will continue to hide him from them because they are right when it comes to his anger and how he treats me. I told him that if he could prove to me that he could act right for myself and my son. Oh, you got a kid? I would be open with my family. He hasn't been able to prove that. He has no trust in me and never has. We both have made mistakes in the past as far as talking to other people, and not to sound childish, but it happened on his end many more times than it did on mine. Regardless, it was never okay. Even before this, he never trusted or believed me. I have to send him videos and photos when I'm not proving to prove where I am and who I'm with, but I still get accused. He accuses me daily. He accuses me of messing with his best friends. His friends and I have no contact outside of his presence, and 9 times out of 10 they are around. I'm just quiet to keep my head down because I know I will later be accused of something. He calls me terrible names on a daily basis. He always embarrasses me by scolding me in front of others, usually for something I didn't even do. He'll make it seem as if I have said stuff that I haven't said. Every time I try to leave, he shames me on social media. He stalks me. He threatens me. I blocked him, and he calls and texts from blocked numbers. Every time I end up giving in and going back, but nothing ever changes, it's a never ending circle. This time I'm trying to stay away for good. I deserve better. My son deserves better, and he even deserves better. Someone who fits his lifestyle better. Someone who doesn't have a kid that comes first. My question is, I'm wrong for leaving? No, you're an idiot. Would things change if I was open with my family? No, they wouldn't. Your family would probably get their guns together and go right now and find him. Am I right to leave? You should have been gone. You never should have started this. Would things only get worse with time, regardless of the situation? Absolutely. You're going to end up just like all them other women, one of his statistics. And if leaving is the right thing to do, why is it so painful? And how do I stand my ground and not go back? This is what you do. Imagine yourself in a casket. Imagine yourself in a casket. Imagine your parents and your son crying over your casket because this fucker here has killed you in his one of his fits of rage. He gonna be crying saying it was your fault because you cheated, you lied, it was an accident, he didn't mean it, it was your fault. But he'll be in prison and you'll be in a box under the ground forever. Just stay there. Your child will grow up with no mama because his mama was stupid and decided to get herself involved with a man who has a history of abusing every single one of his girlfriends from high school. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck you thinking. How this makes any goddamn sense at all. See, you got me seriously cussing up in here. Your kid is seeing this shit. You have no respect for yourself and none for your family and none for your child either. That's what I want you to do. I want you to imagine yourself in a box, pushing up daisies. You act like this is the only man in the world. This the only dude you could be with. If you don't leave him for anybody else, you leave him for your son. Because you know, depending, I don't know how old your son is. You so young, but can't be too old. But you know, there have been sons, teenage sons who've killed their mother's boyfriends for trying to hurt their mother. Because, you know, teenage boys, you got a son, 17, 18 years old, he's as strong as a man. Stronger in some cases, because that's a peak. A 19-year-old man is at the peak of physical muscular development. So you got a son who's an older son, and you got some grown man trying to mess with you like that. That motherfucker could end up dead, and then here's your son in prison for life. Why? Because you made a stupid choice. Another thing that you could imagine is not just yourself in the casket. Imagine your son in the casket. Your little kid dead because this man abused him. He liked to throw shit. He liked to hit people. What makes you think he would stop at you and wouldn't attack your child? See, these are kind of things that these women, y'all don't be thinking about. You know, you don't be thinking about it. But these are the realities. This kind of shit happens all the time. You can look it up on Google. All kind of kids end up dead by the hands of the mama's violent boyfriends. You know, because you got a little kid, he's trying to fight you. The little kid gonna run over there, stop hurting my mommy, and he takes and flings the kid. The kid hits his head on something, skull cracks open. Now your kid is dead because it'll be your fault because you got yourself involved with an idiot and brought him around your child. That would be your fault. And if they put you in prison right along with him, that would be a good decision, I would think, because you contributed to it. You put everything in motion. Because it's not like a woman who just had a guy who she was dating and then he just went crazy and this was the first time and something happened and it was there. Okay. In that case, she's as much caught off his guard as everybody else that he went left and went crazy. But that's not the case here. You've known this dude since high school. You already know how he is with every single one of his girlfriends. So you have full knowledge of his behavior patterns. And you're still intentionally and willfully exposing your child to this danger. So if something happened to the kid and he got arrested and put in prison and they did the same to you, I would give the judge a round of applause because that's where you would deserve to be for the rest of your life because your child is dead and you got him that way. So you hear what I'm saying here, and I know this is hurting your feelings, and this is something that's very harsh. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. You wrote me with this simple bullshit, and this is the kind of thing that you should not be participating in whatsoever. I'm surprised. You know that's why your family don't like him, and you sit up there trying to hide the relationship like you 15 years old. This whole thing is so stupid. I don't know. I'll tell you how I do with my daughter's boyfriend he's a little violent boy, little violent ass boyfriend. My daughter never did tell me what he did that had her walking home in the middle of the night barefoot. They only lived about, I don't know, 5 or 6 blocks from where we lived at the time. And she had called herself moving in with this boyfriend. She walked home. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I was watching downstairs watching TV when I hear this knock at the door on the patio, and it was her coming and she, Mom, I want to come home. And she just looked so distraught. I just like, I felt my stomach sink. I could tell something was wrong, but she never told me what he did. She never told me, because I think she was scared, what I would do. But when I called him and told him to bring her stuff, he started talking, like he was gonna do something. And then with his, I'm a double black belt. I said, can your ass stop bullets? Because if you can't do that, then don't tell me about your black belt. That don't have shit to do with what I told you to do. Bring all her shit and put it on this patio. When I wake up in the morning, that shit better be on my deck. And he's like, well, I'll do this, I'll do that. I said, oh, you could do that, but I started thinking about the goons I was ready to bring from Oakland to stomp his ass. Because I'm like, you're not going to do nothing, not over here, because I'm not all the guns I have in my house. But I didn't even need my goons. But I thought the fact that he thought that, he was going to threaten me, I thought, oh, yes, it's time for you to get your little ass kicked, little white boy, because you thinking because you don't sit up here, you thinking because it's two black women that you going to intimidate somebody? You don't understand. I grew up in a Fillmore in San Francisco back in the day when it was like, it's all gentrified now. It wasn't like that when I grew up there. Okay, it was Thug Central. And so you thinking that you're gonna intimidate me? Little motherfucker, I will shoot you. You're not gonna do nothing to me. And I will protect my daughter. Because at the time she was 18, she gonna try to act her little self, be fast. But I'm telling you, this little boy, I seriously thought I was gonna have to kill this little fucker, at least ventilate him a little bit. I was like, I'm a double black belt. Be a double black belt in a casket. That's what you will be. Yeah, I don't even need. My brothers are like, I'm not gonna do that. Cause I'm not gonna. I'm gonna call my thug cousins that's already been in and out of San Quentin. They be just happy to go back. They don't just look for a reason. They just be doing stupid shit to go there. So if they felt like they had a reason, they would be all over that dude. So I'm like, There's too many of us. I have a big family on both sides, and 90% of them are crazy, including me. Let's move on. Question number 23, female, 20 to 29 from Lincoln, Nebraska. I just don't know what to do anymore. I feel like my relationship might be doomed. My boyfriend moved in a couple of months ago. He has a bad temper, but I really have never seen it, even though we were together 5 days out of the week. Anyways, in these 2 months, I have seen his explosive temper 4 different times and over stupid stuff, but it's somehow always my fault. Last week, he got mad because I didn't turn the porch light on and the front door was locked when he got home from class. He said I am acting dumb, not thinking of little things like that to do for him. The door should have been open and the porch light on so he didn't have to stumble around for his keys in the rain. He went crazy and kind of backed me into a wall, and then he went to separate rooms for the night and didn't talk. And he's still living there? The next day, he apologized and said he was embarrassed but didn't know what got into him. Said he wouldn't act like that again. This morning, he was horny. Came into the bathroom while I was getting ready and just started doing it to me without saying a word. I didn't say no and just went with it. Afterwards, he asked what was wrong, and I told him he just can't do that. I need more so we can both enjoy it. He got all mad at me, wouldn't let me talk, and went into the bathroom, shut the door, and locked it. Wow. Wow. I tried calling him nothing, so I texted. He didn't apologize, said I'm pushing him away by complaining and to pick my battles wisely. He can just be so mean sometimes, it just flies off the handle. It is really starting to get to me now, and I am afraid to bring anything up for fear that he will get mad and we will fight and won't talk. He is so sweet any other time, takes good care of me, and we have a blast together, and we are always laughing. And I feel he is perfect except for those temper tantrums he throws. I just don't know what to do. Except for your boyfriend assaulted you in the bathroom while you getting ready for work, and he got in your face. He calls you names, and you say everything is perfect except nothing's perfect about this relationship. Tell him that he needs to move back out. If he doesn't move back out, then you move. But whatever needs to happen, this needs to be over. This is a bad situation. How are all these young girls getting in all these kinds of relationships? What is going on? What is going on that this is happening on such a level, widespread basis? These kind of situations, there is no way this thing you gonna tell me that I should have not locked the door. I don't know who's knocking on the door. It could be anybody, some homeless bum. And I'm going to just leave the door open and the light on, just inviting any old trashy person into the house. And you ain't here. I'm here by myself. Are you fucking kidding me right now? You lucky that you let you in at all. This is unbelievable. These guys are something's wrong with them. To even think that they should talk to a woman or treat her like this, there's something seriously amiss with these young men's minds. Something is horribly, horribly wrong. That's what you need to do. Get him out of there. Okay, there's this a rental thing where he can't be on the lease if he only moved in 2 months ago. Have your landlord evict him. Tell him he has to get out because he's not on the lease. Okay, get your landlord in on it. This is unbelievable. So then you have an excuse. You see what I mean? Because I think you need that. You need that sensation of having some backup. That's how you could do it. Say, my landlord came by and told me that I can't have any other people living here because they're not on the lease, and this apartment is for one person. So you have to get out, and that's your excuse to get him up out of there. Question 24. This is a female in the 40 to 49 age group from Bed-Stuy, New York. So I've been talking to this 50-year-old dude for a week. We had a virtual date via Bumble. Finally gave my digits. Texting turned into mattress talk. I explained I am awkward at mattress talk, mainly till I know someone. I'm old-fashioned that way. At 50, you think that the dude would know better. Just because we chatted for over an hour on a vid doesn't mean I want to jump your bones, let alone talk about it. Deb, is it just me? Am I that far out of touch after being married for 20 years? I've been divorced for 3. No, you're not out of touch. These dudes are just trash. But see, it's okay. Let me explain something to you. You say that you're old fashioned and you're awkward at mattress talk. This is in the future, this is how you should handle that. Okay, so you've been texting and then he started doing, what they call sexting, right? He want to talk about stuff. This is someone that you only had one virtual date with. Not a face to face, a virtual date. That means you haven't seen this person, you haven't laid eyes on this person. You were on a computer, much as how I'm appearing to you right now. That is about how much intimacy the two of you had, right? You're looking at someone on the screen talking. Except I guess you could talk back, but they're in the chat, and I look at that, and so it's, we can communicate. But you guys are actually talking. You can hear his voice and see his face, okay? But the contact is the same as we're having right now, okay? And then he gonna start talking all this, sexy talk to you. How do you handle it? Someone cue up the Jeopardy music. Do no 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 do no 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 do 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 do. Okay, you get the idea. So you would sit there and you would think, is this what I want to do? The answer to that question is no. Is this appropriate for him to be talking to me like this? The answer to that is no. What is this man looking for? He's looking for a freak. Am I a freak? The answer to that is no. So 3 strikes, you out. That's 3 no's. So what you're supposed to do is tell him, look, obviously you're looking for some shit I'm not looking for, so I'm gonna click off now. Don't call me no more. Forget you know me. Lose my number. That's how you handle yourself like this, girlfriend. You don't need to be defensive. You don't need to make excuses. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't have to do nothing. I'm just saying you could just say that, but you don't even have to say it. You could just like click off and block him. Okay? You don't have to explain anything. He knows he's being trash. He knows this. And no, you're not out of touch. I'm telling you, it's just a new breed of man out here. It's just a new breed of dude, and I don't like it one bit. They are trash when they behave like this. And if you entertain them, see, you go along with it, you start sexting back and all this kind of stuff like people want to do, send them pictures of them in bikinis and their underwear and all this old stuff, then they peg you as trash too, ladies. Okay, you got to figure out which side of the fence you on. Are you going to be on the side of class and style, or you be on the side of trash? So you start engaging in this kind of stuff with some complete strangers. You don't think he's going to respect you in any kind of way. He feels like you desperate, lonely, and trash, and that's how you would be presenting yourself. Something to think about. Let's move on. We got two more questions. Here's number 25. The male from 30 to 39. 30 to 39, it just says East Coast, USA. I'm 30 years old and I will attend my favorite school next semester for graduate school. It's my dream school. I'm obsessed with their football team. I'm a convicted felon, and back in 2012, I was charged with a felony and a misdemeanor. My felony conviction was planning, conspiring, and endeavoring to perform an act of violence. My misdemeanor conviction was stalking. Oh, Jesus. I'm not even religious, but I'm calling on the Lord. Okay, my felony conviction was for the reason that I had taken my car and drove 1,000 miles to a different state and had threatened to harm a woman. Hmm. My stalking charge was for being angry because I had blamed that woman for something and drove all the way down to that state. I was convicted of the crime in 2013 and got out of prison in 2015 and was put on 5 years of probation, so he did 2 years. However, after I got my probation transferred to my state, my piece of crap mother and piece of crap uncle tried to get a probation transferred to my favorite school's arch rival state because my mother had gotten a job at that state. I didn't want to live in that state because I'm passionate about my favorite school and absolutely despise that arch rival in that state. Okay, there's reading this, there is some serious mental illness going on here. Dude, I'm sorry if you listen to this or going to listen to this. I'm just picking up on all kinds of mental imbalances. Just the way that you're writing this is very telling. But let's read on. Hmm. I fled state lines and violated my probation. I was on the run for 92 days and got caught. I went back to prison and was released for good in May 2017. Okay, so in total, you did 4 years now. I have high functioning autism. And during my sentencing, my lawyers tried to convince the judge to have high functioning autism. But I went back to school and finished up my undergrad degree. Then I took my GRE last September and earned a 337 out of 340 on it. The graduate program at my favorite school didn't require the GRE. A few days ago at the city park, I met this woman who was walking her dog. Are you seeing what I mean? How disjointed and are you guys following what I'm saying? You just pick up on the Okay, I met this woman who was walking her dog. We spoke for 20 minutes and the conversation went really well and she congratulated me on getting accepted into graduate school and I went home and looked her up on Google and found out that she is a criminal defense attorney and that she got her law degree from my favorite school. I sent her a follow request on her private Instagram account and she accepted, and I haven't disclosed my felony conviction to her yet. My plan is to talk to her at least in person a couple of times before I reveal my felony conviction. Okay. The one issue I have is assuming that she does not judge me because of my previous felony conviction. It's because her family and friends, she has friends in high places. If she does judge me based on my past and doesn't want to either date me or associate with me, I'll attend my favorite school and then drop out of my favorite school. I'm not the one paying for it. My piece of crap mother will be the one paying for it. I honestly don't care. There will be two reasons for doing this. Number one, if that woman doesn't want to associate with me, then what's the honest effing point of me getting my master's degree from my favorite school? She earned her law degree from my favorite school. I'll have a hard time focusing on my studies. I refuse to make friends and just have a shitty time, even though it's my favorite school. Even with my family for trying to get my probation transferred to the state of my favorite school's arch rival. I deserve to have this woman, and I'm either owed a relationship with her or deserve to have a friendship with this woman. This woman should not judge me because of my previous felony and misdemeanor conviction. I'm entitled to have this woman, and I have a proud sense of entitlement. How exactly am I not entitled? I deserve this. How do I not deserve this? I have pure justification for getting to know this woman better. Why would a felony deprive me of getting to know this woman better? Why should this felony deprive me of dating her? This world owes me everything. I don't even know where to start. Let me just be blunt with you. You one crazy as a Bessie bug fucker. Okay? Let me make myself clear. Get your ass to the nearest shrink. That's what you need to do. You don't need to be worrying about going to school or do nothing because then you're going to get fixated on somebody's daughter, some little co-ed, and little girl, the young girl that doesn't know anything about felony convictions and all that kind of stuff. She's just been going to school her whole life. You met a woman one time in a park, and then now you turn into this thing where you feel like you deserve her, that you're entitled to her. You don't even know the woman could be married. But somehow in your mind, she's yours and you deserve her. You do you know how crazy you sound right now? You have a history of doing really crazy things where it concerns women. You get mad because, and then you want to drive across state. That's your ass already spent 4 years. You had a 4-year bid behind acting stupid behind a woman. You still want to continue on that path? You want to spend the rest of your life in prison? Because you got these street strikes laws. You gonna keep getting these felonies, dude. You gonna go away for life, which actually might not be a bad idea because you don't sound like you rap too tight. I'm gonna tell you this: leave that woman alone. Leave her alone. Because this was your favorite school before you ever laid eyes on her. You need to go to the school because you said that was your favorite school. That's where you always wanted to go, right? But now it says you don't want to go there because if she won't date you, you're not gonna go. Guess who that's gonna hurt? It's not gonna be her. She already graduated. She don't give a fuck. You gonna be the one without a law degree. She got hers. You're gonna be fucking yourself up, living these pipe dreams. Crazy fucker. Well, guys, people will write in because um when you write in, you fill in that form, right? It's completely anonymous. I don't know who he is. You know what I mean? And so they get to vent the stuff they share a side of themselves that they don't feel safe sharing with people who know them. Have you guys ever really thought about that? This kind of forum invites people to be honest about their actions and their thoughts and their feelings, as well as what's happening to them in a way that they don't feel safe doing with any people that they know. Even with a therapist, they will tell things here that they wouldn't tell their therapist. And sometimes they say that I haven't even talked to my therapist about this because of the anonymity and the fact that they know. I mean, yeah, we have their email address or whatever email address they put on there, whatever, but we don't know who these people are. So there's no comeback for us on them, like it would be if they told a friend or a family member, a doctor, somebody who knows them and sees their face and all of this. That's why they write in, just in case you're wondering. That's why we get these kinds of letters. All right. But this dude here, your felony, you got a felony conviction because you deserved it. You got a felony conviction because you did something that you should not have been doing. You did got a felony conviction because you threatened to harm someone. You got a felony conviction because you drove 1,000 miles across state lines with full intent, malice, and forethought to hurt someone. That's why your ass got a felony conviction. Any woman with any sense would stay far, far away from you because you have issues when it comes to women and understanding boundaries. Okay? You need a shrink. We're talking about two different women. He was the one that he got convicted for the crime for stalking, and now he's about to do the same thing with this one. The problem is up here. Yeah, they be telling that, and by since they tell me, of course I tell you. But it's very interesting. How am I not entitled? You're not entitled to anything, dude. Nobody on this fucking earth owes you anything. And see, this is that participation trophy mentality that I wrote about some years ago. As soon as I started hearing about that, I knew that was going to be all bad for young men. They should never get participation trophies. You get a trophy if you win. You don't get a trophy just because you showed up and you feel like you deserve one. So whoever thought about this, whoever thought that was a good idea, fucked up a whole generation of young men's minds. I feel like, well, I get a trophy, which in this case would be the woman that they want because they just show up. Participation trophies should all be ended, thrown in the garbage can. They aren't worth trash. They're trash. They're not worth anything, and they're messing up these young men's minds. Woo! Okay, I have to take a swig of my nasty wine on that one. Question number 26. Here we go. This is the last question of the day. Female, 20 to 29, from Jackson, Mississippi. I've been with my boyfriend now for a little less than a year. He's been collecting unemployment the entire time due to being laid off from the pandemic. He freely and openly collects and does not look for a job. He lives at home with his parents. I work full time and live in my own apartment and pay my own bills. Hmm. He keeps telling me he's depressed and doesn't want to be enabled and spoiled by his parents anymore. I told him he should really look for a job so he can make more money, get out of the house, have some self worth, etc. He does not want to work. He says he has no motivation. I told him maybe to seek therapy, but he never calls his insurance to get a list of covered providers. I found him a list and he still doesn't call. You doing too much. He wants us to move 500 miles away this summer. I told him I don't feel comfortable making such a huge life change with someone who is in his mind state. He claims that moving and starting fresh will spark his motivation. He got mad at me and said that I'm annoying and rushing him because I keep trying to get him to help himself. I guess I'm nagging him a little, but I just worry about our future together. All he does is wake up and then play video games all day, eat and sleep. I don't know what to do. I constantly give him suggestions. He either turns them down or just acknowledges them. He said I need to worry about my own problems and not his, and that by me telling him to get help is just bringing negativity into his life. I do sometimes tell him he's wasting valuable time just playing video games all day, but it's just the truth. I know the truth hurts. I just don't know what else to say anymore. When we're together, I can sense his depression. It just wants to lay in bed and sleep or play video games. It's making me feel depressed too. I feel guilty asking him to go shopping with me or help me run errands. Any advice? At what point do you give up? 6 months ago? Do I just continue to leave it alone and let him figure it out? Has it gone too far to where I should think about leaving? Girl, what's wrong with you? See, this is when you know young people. Yep, where are these parents? What are you parents doing? Girlfriend, your parents should have immediately put their foot up your asses about fucking around with this loser. He is a loser. And I mean, he's not doing nothing with his life. He's not working. And he has his parents who are enablers who let him just sit around the house playing video games and sleeping all day. His parents are trash. He's trash. Your parents are trash. So it's like, what is going on here? I mean, you have somewhat of some sense because at least you're doing something with yourself. But the fact that you're wasting time trying to raise a grown man when his parents are right there, that's their job. That's not your job to tell him anything. Your job is to work on yourself. So what you're supposed to do is break up with him. There's going to be some motivation because right now he's getting food, he's getting clothing, he's getting a house, he's getting electricity paid, he's got free internet, and then he got free ass on top of that. So what you're supposed to do is deny him at least your booty. He's not supposed to get nothing from you because he's not a man. You over there screwing somebody's child. Did you ever think about it? He's living like a baby, and you over there sleeping with him. What's wrong with you? Man, if you were my daughter, oh my God, I cannot even imagine the shit I'll be talking to you and telling you all about yourself. But you wouldn't be acting like this if you were my daughter because you would have been raised differently. This wouldn't have been, he would have never been a bleep on your radar. So you are sitting up there feeling depressed because he's depressed. You tell him what he should be doing with his life, and he's not doing nothing. He doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to do anything. You are trying to make something of yourself. He's not. You're working. He's not. You're living on your own. He's not. I'm trying to figure out what it is that you see in this dude. He's trash. He's useless. He's useless to himself and he's useless to you. Please let this go. And when you finish school or whatever you're doing, move out of Jackson, Mississippi. My cousin lived there. Her and her husband went to Jackson State, and then they came to California. They go down there and visit and stuff, but they ain't trying to live down there. You need to get up out of Mississippi. Okay. I'm not saying that it's a horrible place with horrible people or anything like that. What I'm saying is that that's no place for a young go-getting type of female to be. That's not the place for you. Get out of there and leave him there. Okay. Yeah. That's just, he's just a loser. And there's nothing that you can do for him. There's nothing you can do with him. Please leave this dude alone. All right. Woo, honey, yes. He one of them hefty bag moving hobosexual types of dudes. Trying to get her to move someplace 500 miles so he can live off of her. That's what he's trying to do. So she'll be paying all the rent, she'll be doing everything while he tried to, I'm not motivated. I thought this would motivate me, but I'm not motivated. He tried to get you in a trap. Don't fall for it. I'm telling you. And then the next thing you know, you're gonna end up pregnant, and then you're gonna be stuck with him forever. Don't get rid of him. Get away from him now while you still have a chance. You're still young. You still have all the options in the world ahead of you. Get rid of this fool who is weighing you down. Child, I'm telling you, see my little dust this little logo, I mean little graphic I made of a dust man with a hefty bag carrying it on a stick. He's a homosexual. That's when I made that homosexual video a couple of years ago. But you guys, I'm glad that we got together again. I have some great topics and suggestions that have been coming through. I decided I'm not going to talk about them anymore. You know why? Because there's too many people biting on my topics. I've noticed this. People keep telling me, oh, so and so did a video on that topic that you was just talking about or that you just did. So they're coming and they're biting on my stuff. So, I'm going to keep my mouth closed. I'm going to just do it. All right, so I'm gonna be putting up the show page like a day or so before. That's about it. So if you want to keep up with what's going on this channel, you need to become a subscriber and hit that instant notification bell because I'm gonna start, going lower with my stuff. The only thing that's gonna be up in advance is the What the Fuck Tuesday. Everything else, I'm gonna put it up a day or so before at the most. And then if you don't put your if you're not a subscriber, you're just gonna miss out. You're gonna miss out on the live thing. As you see, the energy here is different than when you watch it by yourself. So that would be my suggestion. Hit the subscription button. All right. So you guys, where's my thing at? Here we go. Yeah, but we will be here Sunday. Sunday there will be a Sunday sermon. But the topic I'm not gonna tell you. You'll find out on Saturday. All right. But I'll see y'all then. You guys take care. Love you. Hey, thanks, Shay, and to all of you who show up so religiously every week, every show. I really appreciate your support. Thank you, and I will see you on Sunday. Maybe even before. You just never know with me. Bye bye.